the sound on?
I think I did it all in the right places.
We just need someone to tell us that you did.
If
Can
you
you
can
hear the people talking?
if you can both hear and see us.
Thanks, Robin.
Hey, Robin.
Oh my God, Steph, you did push all the buttons. How many do you have to push? Like 4 or 5?
I've gotten it down to 3.
You were able to remove buttons?
Yeah, somehow.
Wow.
I made
And
something.
look
I
at
did move
that.
some things around.
You have a whole party with you.
The gang's all here. Yeah, we've got like some backstage passes. Oh, good. Thank you, LJ. All right. Well, my gang here has to sit down because my arm's getting tired.
Yeah, that was funny for those that don't get to see this part. She was dancing in the background with her troupe there, and then out of nowhere, because we have our mics muted, she just looks at me like, "Oh, my arm hurts." Oh,
Well, surprisingly, this turtle, he's a lot of work. I love him to death, but he's a lot of work.
yeah. Well, you can't tire yourself out like before we literally even get
Yeah.
started talking about anything.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I know.
And please don't like put yourself in a QuiltCon lanyard noose.
Exactly. Yeah. So, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I've been seeing a lot of people in my Facebook group talk about QuiltCon FOMO. And then I tell Stephanie here, like, hey, yeah, I posted in there. Maybe we'll talk about, some things happening at QuiltCon. And she's like, oh, I've got all my lanyards. And she pulls like this whole big barrage of lanyards,
Yeah,
dusts them off the wall.
I think this is 4 of them, and I'm trying to think. Like, I know I should have more.
How many have you been to?
I think I'm missing one. I don't know where it is. This is from last year.
Mm-hmm.
I had my AQSG thing on it. They went
To
to
say you were working it last year.
I was at the AQSG booth, and it's interesting. They got rid of the plastic sleeves, which is fine, but now it's like this.
Oh, yes, I have been there since they got rid of the plastic sleeves. Hi, Mod Art.
Oh, hey, Mod Art, how are you? Yeah, so it's this non-tear stuff, which is fine. It's just floppy, and I guess the one thing I miss is having the pocket to put stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, good times.
I do remember people the last time, I think Atlanta, they didn't have a pocket. And I remember people being sad about that. But somebody apparently that knew they were getting rid of that, they brought their own adhesive pocket to put on the back of their thing.
Oh, on the back. Okay, yeah. I know a lot of people always have those. It looks almost like a passport pouch thing, but then a lot of people make those, and I think that goes back way beyond QuiltCon. I know some of my mom's friends, I guess when they go to Houston and stuff, they would have that with the name badge and then like all the stuff in it. I guess business cards. Back then they were collecting business cards to put inside. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know I'm missing one. The year that was QuiltCon from home. That's what I'm missing. There was a T-shirt. There was no lanyard.
Yeah, Marta, I don't think, does Dana have an action today? I thought that was yesterday.
She does. Well, is it today or yesterday? It's a linens one. I don't think that there was quilts in it. Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, it might be today, but yeah, it wasn't one I was really paying super high attention to because it was a lot of other just kinds of textile things. What are you doing?
I'm just
are you literally making?
I'm putting them all together. I'm going to put them here. So, because if I lay them on my desk, they'll just slither on the floor.
The slithering lanyards.
Yeah. I have to put them back on my bulletin board. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for that trip down your QuiltCon memory lane.
Oh, I didn't even really say much about them. Look at this one. This one I had a unicorn. That was a Crimson Tate. She had them that year at her booth. And then all of the dots are for volunteer hours.
Oh.
And if you get so many volunteer hours, you would get early registration back in the day. Yeah, this one I had. This was Fabric Addict, and I had my I got my gold star for being a super volunteer. And then this was my first QuiltCon.
And where was that?
Savannah. That was my first year. The 2015, I think.
Wow, has it already been going on that long?
Maybe it was 2016. Oh yeah, and that wasn't the first one. Yeah, QuiltCon's been going on for a while.
I've only ever been so far to one. I think I'll probably end up going next year in Raleigh.
I'm planning on going to Raleigh, because it's not a bad drive for me. And my dad only lives like an hour or so away, so it's a two birds, one stone trip, you know. Hey Jan, hey Druid. Yeah, so it's, to me, it's always worth a trip when it's that close. So, but yeah, I've been trying not to look at Instagram. Yeah, so if anybody out there's feeling the FOMO, like,
Why? I mean, I'm gonna ruin that for you because we're gonna look at Instagram.
well,
But
yeah, I don't
why are you
mind. I don't mind looking at stuff with friends, but yeah, there is that sense of like, I try not to doom scroll, but you know, it's like late at night and you're like, I should be going to bed, and you're like, but let me look and see, and I'm like, aw, they're having fun, aw.
Oh, you're just like there's a party going on without you.
Yeah, people are seeing fun things, and like, you know, I think Cheryl Arkinson, I don't know if you know her, she's a contemporary quilt teacher. She often teaches at QuiltCon, but for whatever reason she's not there this year, and she I just realized my fan is still on. She posted, I had to have been yesterday because I was posting something on my own Instagram yesterday, and you know, I guess it was a reel, so I was waiting for her to upload her thing. Came up and she was just saying, like, you know, if you're feeling the FOMO, don't feel the FOMO. There's lots of people that are not at QuiltCon. And, you know, honestly, it's one of those things, like, I think about all of the other, like, big quilt events, like Houston. Probably the people going to Houston are not, they're not the heavy social media, like, you know, you're not getting all the social media darlings in those events that you get, like, with QuiltCon, because everybody is posting to Instagram with QuiltCon. So it feels, yeah, it starts to, you feel like you're missing out on a lot, and yeah, you are, but it's not a big deal because you can't do all.
I was gonna say, I don't really currently feel like I'm missing out on a lot just because I was not interested in going all the way over to Phoenix.
Yeah, you know, if I had the disposable income to jump on a flight, I probably would have gone just for fun because so many people, you know, so many of our friends were going to be there. But yeah, you can't do all the things all the time, you know?
No, and we already have so many things we're already doing this year.
Yeah.
So,
And then I have extra stuff on top of that. You have extra stuff on top of what we're doing together. So
yeah, there's things. There's lots of
lots of things.
like
Yeah, so.
like you won't even be a human in April.
No. I'm just gonna be this like little pack horse with my little what's the what do they call that, a bindle, you know, the little stick with the at the end, it's called a bindle, and I'll just be like going from place to place with my bindle.
Like all your stuff would fit in there.
I gotta
You would
pack,
have
like,
one. You'd be dragging it instead because
you know,
it would be
it's
so big
bad.
and heavy.
I've gotten to be a bag lady, you know, when I travel. And once upon a time I was a very good traveler because, well, I've never been a good traveler, but like packing, I was good because I traveled every single week. And a steamer trunk. Yeah. I actually have one. I have, you know, like one of those old fashioned.
Of course you do.
My grandmother had bought like a bunch of them over the years and refinished them, and my mom had one and I stole it from her because it's flat on top. Not all of them are flat on top, you know. I have one that's got the, you know, you can't put stuff on top of it. It has to sit there, you know, and it takes up space. But I have a flat one that I can, you know, I can stack quilts and things on top. So maybe I need to pull that out for April.
Maybe you do. I think that we should look at the Instagrammers
Okay.
because we should look at
And we're all
what.
in this together, guys. We're here for your emotional support. Um, yeah, I'll be honest.
Nobody
I haven't looked a whole lot. Oh, hey, Kate. I'm sorry I missed you over on Twitch.
nobody judged my tabs. These are my emotional support tabs. I know I say that every time. Um,
You don't have as many tabs as I have open right now.
oh,
When one
and
gets
I
to
actually even have some extra ones open that
when one
I.
gets to researching, one ends up with a lot of tabs. Oh wow, that one on the right, the full one, that's beautiful. I love those
This one?
colors. Mm-hmm. That's gorgeous. Who is that?
Then came June.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that person, but that is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I like this video too for like walking
Hmm.
up the stairs.
Yeah, the
Um,
colors, those colors are really, really good.
yeah, that's a really cute video too. I
Yeah.
really
Oh,
like
is it?
that.
Oh, this is still the top. It's not quilted yet because I was like, what is
Hmm
that two sided? No, it's just the top.
hmm
Yeah, that's really striking.
I don't know where she is too, but that's a really nice space that
Like a
she's in.
loft or something. Yeah, well, it's like a
Yeah, I
whole
don't
place.
know. Like it's yeah, it definitely looks like a like an industrial space. This one is Audrey Essery, who we saw
Oh,
speak at
yeah,
American Quilt Study
yeah,
Group when we were in
and I know
Louisville.
Audrey. Yeah, that's very different than what she usually does. I had not seen that. I'd seen her other one.
This one's
Um,
Best Original Modern Design Award.
Gotcha. I have not seen Best in Show yet. Have you seen Best in Show? I have no idea what it is.
Oh, yeah, I've seen Best in Show.
We gotta look at that.
I posted it in my Facebook group, you loser. Let me see. Let's
Look,
see.
there's like a bazillion trillion people in your Facebook group, and a bazillion people are
Here
get
you go.
added every day.
Here's Best in
So,
Show.
oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I did see that. I did see that.
Yeah, and it's double-sided.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing. And look, it's a Star Bethlehem, or shoot, what's the other name for it? Why am I completely blanking?
Oh my God. I was gonna say we were only reading about 700 of these in our
I have
in
it under my
the
desk. Yeah, the
I
star.
don't know.
What's
Did
wrong
someone
with
I was gonna
us
say
today?
did someone come up with it in the
Let me see. Anybody? Anybody? No.
Yeah, I had just searched, QuiltCon
Mm-hmm.
2025 and just this one I had just seen posted today. Um that I thought was very interesting. Also because I find it interesting when, we have men interested in quilting.
Sure. Yeah. I think there's more and more men every year, which
Oh,
is
rigid
okay. Which is
design.
okay. You know what? If the men in Big A art would just let us in. See, we've been letting men into our little club for quite some time.
Oh, that's a cute. Oh, look at her pants. Her
Yeah,
pants are quilted.
yeah, that is so. Yeah, oh, those are really cool. That's one of the. I think that's one of the trending themes at QuiltCon this year is your quilt fashion.
Yes,
Um,
there are quite a few reels about, I think one of them was called like Quilt Couture.
and I think was it Badass Quilter the other day. She was doing like a pre-quilt con, like sewing some stuff to a jean jacket or something. I can't remember
Hmm.
what it was.
Hmm. That's
Joshua
very
Dunn.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know his name. And there's
And then
there's
and then
Teresa,
we
our friend
yeah.
Teresa. I feel like Teresa, because I follow Teresa. I feel like every time I went in and was like scrolling, I'd see Teresa in front of a quilt.
Yep.
Okay, so that's her quilt, but I feel like I saw her in front of some other quilts where I was like, I don't think this is hers. She was with other people though, so
I'm
Manhattan.
sure she's probably been in front of lots of
Yeah,
quilts. Mhm. This one's interesting. This one reminds me
it's Audrey.
of a paint, no, like a what the hell? What's the thing
A
they
paint,
hold, like
a
artists
paint,
hold?
a paint palette.
palette. It's just okay. That's kind of what that reminded me of. But yeah, that's pretty. I like that.
So I think that one placed as well.
Oh, oh look, here's another star. That one's very cool. One of the reasons I don't flock to QuiltCon like everyone else does is because I don't generally make these types of quilts.
Yeah,
Um
I've made some in the past, some quilts that are more modern, but it's not really my jam either. So,
yeah, like I appreciate them for their artistic value, but
mm.
for me, other than seeing quilts, I go to shows for the vendors because I'm going to be exposed to vendors that I don't get to see otherwise, since, most of them travel the country. And I personally just find the QuiltCon vendors all carry the same thing. So I'm not trying to like dump on anybody or say they're not worthwhile. It's just that's my opinion of, so I just don't get excited
My
about them.
experience with QuiltCon vendors, and a while back. So let's see. Robin said, so LJ said the color of thread in the machine quilting is amazing. Some of the like the innovative things that people do are really cool.
Mhm.
And being able to like, long arming and other kind of modern quilt making methods
Mhm.
sort of expand that ability. Yeah, Robin said she made a few shirts and a pair of overalls for QuiltCon. So whatever this category is,
Well, this says
okay.
five quilts entered into QuiltCon, one
So
got in, four weren't accepted.
this specific person, but yeah, this I'm assuming whatever category she was going for, there is one that looks kind of like maybe it is hers. I'm wondering if it's the one in the bottom,
This?
this one. I don't know if that's showing up. Yeah, this one. That might be the one I saw, but I remember seeing one that had those colors and had that very it's sort of modern. I'm not sure what to call it in terms of like it's equivalent in art. Cubist. Let's call it cubist.
Hmm.
But I saw another one that I feel like it looked like faces, but it was the same colors. I feel like that color palette is
Well, and the show has something, doesn't the show have something like a few hundred quilts in it or some jazz?
uh last year was like 600, I think. Somewhere around 600.
And they get something like 2,000 submitted or something like that, right?
I would venture to guess it's more than that. Yeah. So that red, yellow, and black one, I saw that one. That one came across my desktop. I thought that one was pretty neat. Jackie Pang.
First QuiltCon 2025 Modern Quilt.
Quilt World Breakthrough Award.
Oh, I guess maybe that's a new.
That's a brand new award this year, made possible by a generous grant from the Maxwell
Hanahan?
Hanrahan Foundation.
I don't know. I've not heard of that.
This reminds
I
me
don't.
of Alice in Wonderland and like the Queen of Hearts.
It reminds me of something else. Honestly, the black and gold reminds me a lot of my college colors. Both universities that I've gone to had black and gold as their colors, and I feel like anytime I see black and gold, especially the striking, that's where it takes me. But with the red, it reminds me of something, and I can't quite put my
I
can't quite
just
put my finger on
realized
it.
that my graduate school colors were like black, red, and gold, I think, for Wake Forest. I have no idea what UMass Boston's were because I could care less about sports. So, whatever. Oh my God, look at this dress.
Okay, so
Oh,
oh, that's really cute.
the quilt they're in front of too is pretty cool. Actually, even her dress with the teacups, that's cute. Who is this? Let's see.
So
So
hard for me.
I looked up the Maxwell Hanrahan Foundation. They started so Della Maxwell and Pat Hanrahan started the foundation in 2018 to support individual scientists, teachers, conservationists, and creators.
That's
And
quite a
they
big
have
swath of different people.
Yeah, they have an awards in craft. So artisans, craft people, tool makers, tradespeople, and artists bring unique problem-solving perspectives to the expansive field of craft. So yeah, this is interesting.
Wow, look at this one. It's all arrows. Their name is not made by robots.
You know, that's something I've really actually. She, I want to say, might be the person, and I could be totally wrong. Um, she might be the person that I read a very good.
Cordelia Nance.
I'm not sure. I'm looking it up right now.
Like, can we just talk about how awesome
It is that her name is Cordelia.
Yeah, she. Let's see. Of course, I'm not going to find it by searching that way. There's somebody that it was something. Their blog was something about not made by AI or not made by robots. I'm almost sure that's who she is. She did a really interesting posting about the censorship controversy with the two Sakwa quilts.
Well, let's see. Her profile picture is a jar of something. Olives?
Olives.
That's hmm. Oh, look at the doggy. Oh my God, that's cool. That is very interesting. Um, let's see. Something about Sakwa. Something about
Oh, she's got
donkeys.
Giddy Up. That's Giddy Up.
Mm-hmm. God, does she make like a quilt a week?
I don't know how old are some of these posts. You're going back to last QuiltCon, I think.
No, so she doesn't post very
Or
often.
maybe not. I don't know.
No, that said QuiltCon 2023. How
Uh,
old is this post? Oh yeah, this post is old.
yeah,
150
she
weeks
she
ago.
might I may be thinking of the wrong person, but
Or she just posted somewhere else.
no, it was her blog. She has the person I'm thinking of
Oh,
has a blog. So,
gotcha.
and I came across it when I was looking at some of the censorship stuff.
Wow, this is very, is it painted? Ooh, look
Hmm.
at that. My God, is that all like couched or something?
It looks, yeah. I can't tell. It does look like a heavier. Hmm.
Oh, poor thing, third miscarriage.
Hmm.
Oh, and
Oh
this
yeah.
one was for sale too.
Yeah, so the threads are couched, those yellowish ones, I guess.
Oh, I guess these are multiple. Let's see. Starting the post of other people. Oh, other people's work. That amazed me. Oh, thought we were gonna go see more of that one. That was very, very, very cool. This one looks like someone dropped like paint all over it, like paint pouring.
Oh. Oh yeah, the little circles.
I love the feet in the picture.
Yeah, that was a trend for a while. Well, now I can't find this sticking blog of this person.
Oh, this is a pandemic quilt. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Mm-hmm. I hope you're watching the chat because I can't see it.
Oh. Sorry, guys. I started Googling something.
And of course, our friends at AQSG are at QuiltCon as well. I will show a post by them. That's cool.
Let's trade stickers. Yeah, so if you've never been to QuiltCon, well, I feel like it's kind of always been a thing. Like anytime you get together at some type of event in the sewing and craft or knitting world. I've been to a bunch of different like events. And
Oh,
oh
this was
cool,
at the
it's
airport.
Phoenix Airport. Yeah, that's neat. It's at the local. Is it the Phoenix Quilt Guild? Um, but anyway,
Yeah, Phoenix Modern.
trading things has always been a thing. I remember going to was it Art Fest, and that's like a mixed media type of art making back in the early 2000s, and you would make like 100 little items to take and trade. And I see that that has come full circle to QuiltCon, where people, of course, make their own stickers. Stickers are a big deal. And then last year was the bracelets, the Taylor Swift bracelets.
Friendship bracelets.
The friendship bracelets that say stuff.
So, well, someone asked me like what the deal is with the stickers, and I was like, well, when you consider that I think a lot of the average age at QuiltCon now is more millennial. They grew up with Lisa Frank. Like
So did
we're
the
all
Gen
just
Xers.
honing in. Yeah, we're all just honing in on our Lisa Frankness. Especially since we've discovered she was like kind of a horrible person. So we need to like redo that. If you guys haven't watched the documentary about Lisa Frank, woo, Nelly.
Yeah. That gold and orange and green and
Gold and orange and green.
back down a little bit. It's on the left there. Gold and orange and green and pink.
This
Yeah, I like that. That's very. Oh, you're
you
looking.
like it because you like it because it has pink.
Well, yes, I like it because it has pink, but it looks very. It's like a mid-century design.
Mm-hmm.
The colors and the look.
Wow, and this person got all three of their quilts accepted. And this one was made for a QuiltCon fabric challenge called Unboxed. And it's for all of us who can never quite color within the lines. By choice or defiance. That's funny. Oh, and she used colored threads too to quilt it.
I've noticed a lot of quilters are using colored threads.
Mm-hmm.
There was one last year that used, I think it was the fabric, not the thread, that was photoreactive.
Here's another really cute
So if you took a picture of it,
dressing.
oh yeah, that is cute. That looks like it was probably made out of a quilt top.
Oh, it totally was. The first one we looked at was too.
Yeah.
And a quilt top made out of oh my God, why can't I think of the name of the fabric?
Was it double knit?
There we go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Double knit.
Oh, look at the
That's super
vest.
hot. Oh, the vest. Kate sent me a vest pattern. I haven't had a chance to pull it out and look at it yet.
Yeah, I really like people's. Oh, that's cute.
Oh, that's cute. A vest with a hood.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's really, I like this one a lot. Let's see. Should we search like QuiltCon fashion?
I worry about that one
Why?
because you're likely to see some quilts made into clothing that won't make you happy. So Jesse says, I'm seeing quite a few people with 3 to 4 quilts in this show. I wonder if when they apply, they're scrambled or are they grouped together by entry? That's interesting. So I do know that, I mean, I guess if they're entering quilts and, I mean, they have to enter in different categories. So I don't think that they would be grouped together by entry. They would have been separated into their categories, is my guess.
That's that's how I understand it to work as well.
Yeah. Now that's pretty wild. A yo-yo dress.
I mean,
Yeah.
when I think about the fact that a yo-yo, it's like those seams are held together with just like hopes and dreams. And like they're so heavy, right? Because like there's so much tension. So like the work this person, I guess, would like have potentially had to do. I mean, she's also got to have a slip or something on
Yeah,
underneath
I'm
that.
sure she
'Cause I see black through it.
Yeah, it's like she's got a slip dress on and she tacked,
Yeah.
I'm sure she tacked the yo-yos. And honestly, I mean, I know we've always been down the like we've always been flag waving like don't hurt the quilts people. But I think things like this, I mean, my gosh, yo-yo, you can buy like probably a garbage bag full of yo-yos for nothing. People
Mm-hmm.
don't want them. And those yo-yo runners, I mean, like, what good is a yo-yo unless a yo-yo thing unless you're gonna just make it decorative? So, I
Look
feel
at this
like
gal.
those are
You like her?
something that
She's
maybe.
got pink.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's got some good cotton and steel stuff too, or Ruby Star Society
Mhm.
stuff in
Yeah,
the
and it looks
bag.
like she made her badge into like
Yep.
a whole thing here.
Our friend Tish, she has a great badge thing that she had last year. It looked like she was pulling out again.
Here's some more people. Oh, look at
Yeah,
those
you know,
cans.
I and please don't take this as like me being sour grapes about not being there, but honestly, QuiltCon has become kind of an event to see and be seen.
Mm.
It's almost become like the not the Biennale, but the Art Basel of the quilt world.
Hmm. I was seeing some photos of this
um,
gal and her clothing wears.
okay, those are interesting.
Yeah, she
I
there was a big deal about this quilt behind her, and I forget what it was.
Yeah,
Uh,
I haven't run across that yet. But what I was gonna say is, I mean, what a great idea for either using more contemporary quilts to cut up.
mm-hmm,
Because I don't
mm-hmm.
think nobody is crying about you cutting up like quilts from the 80s.
No.
um, or, designing your own quilt to work in
Well,
a garment.
and this was used, it says here, an upcycled wedding dress that she added stuff to. I can think of a lot of wedding dresses languishing in secondhand stores. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. There's a quilt. Wow, look at that thing.
Yeah.
That
I
is
mean,
that
that's,
is some effort. Sounds like half of me is like, did she miss her calling? Is she supposed to be a garment maker and not
maybe.
necessarily a quilter? Because holy moly.
Yeah, that is really beautiful.
Wow,
Yeah,
that
Jesse said
is.
it seems this year the embellished long sleeve overalls jumpsuits are a thing. Yes, and with jumpsuits, I actually have a couple jumpsuits. They're pretty loud, so I typically only wear them to things like this. One of them is an actual Dickies jumpsuit that I hand dyed, and it's really wild. The other one is a jumpsuit I made from scratch. But a bunch of the indie sewing patterns came out with jumpsuits over the last couple years, and so I think that they are definitely trending. There's a big flea market thing in Baltimore in shoot, I can't remember where the building is. It's a really cool building where they had it, and somebody was sitting in some space just taking pictures of people. Like, it was obvious they were calling them over, like, come over here, I want to take a picture of your outfit.
Oh, okay.
So it
Hmm.
was this whole reel of people's outfits, and there was quite a few jumpsuits. So I was like, yeah, jumpsuits are definitely still trending.
Oh, here's some bags people made. So cute.
Oh,
That's
those are
cute.
cute. Yeah.
Oh, and this is Quilting Daily that posted this.
Ooh, look at those wild pants. I love those.
They're rulers. They're leggings that are rulers.
Oh my gosh, I just realized that. Okay, I see that now. That is so cool.
Um, that's cute.
Uh huh.
It's so funny
Oh, look at
watching
the
everyone wear
inside.
these quilted jackets. They're great and everything, but I gotta tell you, I run hot, especially in a convention center. I
Yeah.
could not be one of these gals wearing a quilted coat in a convention center. That's cute. It's giving me lots of 70s vibes.
Yep, and I love their shoes too. Their shoes are very cool.
Oh,
Oh,
here's that
that's
same
very
girl in a
neat.
different dress. Good Lord, how many outfits did she make?
And
Wow.
hers, let's see. Tell us. So I'm trying to figure out. Like, I'm wondering if she designed that quilting based on the garment itself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cute. Oh my God, look, and she has this little ruffle at the bottom.
Yeah, I am loving all of the fabric that I recognize still.
Well, it's even like, hey, get a picture of that lady's butt over there. She's bending over. Very nice and subtle.
Those look like sun prints.
Mm-hmm. It looks like we just had an exhibit at the museum that was that
Cyanotype.
yes. Thank you very much. She made a tiny little puffy. You know what? Half me wonders, was this the beginning of a puff quilt and you got this far and went, screw it. This is not becoming a whole quilt, it's becoming a vest.
Yeah, I don't know.
And like every person I know that's ever made a puff quilt has been like, why did you people let me do that? I am going to murder someone.
I was trying to see you. I don't think that was your traditional puff quilt because those it's
No,
a
I know.
large
I was
square that she pleat. Yeah, that one didn't look like it had the pleats in it. It looks like she probably just stuffed it.
I
That
think
one's
this one
pretty
they're also
neat.
trying to get a picture of her earring, which is a
But
star.
that collar is very cool. It's been stuffed.
Mm-hmm.
Neck warm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some great. Yeah, it's definitely. I almost feel like if QuiltCon,
Jumpsuits. There's literally a thing that says
yeah,
jumpsuits.
if QuiltCon was like knew what they, well, if what they could have there, they should have a category for the clothing.
Maybe they
I feel
will.
like.
Yeah, maybe they will
Um,
coming up in the future.
I did see that someone has like a booth set up or something that's set up as a little runway, so you can get pictures of you like walking on the runway or something. I thought
That
that
is
was really
cute.
fun.
There's Mary
Oh, look at
Phones!
that! I didn't even know she was there.
Yeah, I did know she was going to be there. She messaged me and asked if I was going to be there.
Yep. There's our friend. They they matched really, really well, even
Yeah.
down to the hairstyle and color. I did see a picture of Mary's mom on another
Okay, well, there's
um
my own work there.
where? What did I go by?
So the heart thing on the right hand side, that's
This?
mine. Yeah, that's for
Really?
I don't know when. That must have
Oh,
been how would I have it tagged with?
you put it on for Valentine's Day. But 314 weeks ago.
Oh, I'll make it available after QuiltCon.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever made this this pattern available.
This
Well,
is very cute though.
if anyone is interested, I yeah, it was the Sailor's Valentine. I drew it out. It was when I was like hardcore into English paper piecing.
Are you not anymore?
I just haven't done any in a while because I've just been working on other stuff.
I
So,
was gonna say, like, you did some not too long ago because I physically witnessed it.
well, yeah, I did a dance project, but I haven't done anything
Mhm.
like that in quite some
Mhm.
time. So Robin said Dee Dee Brew Crew and Just So Viv have both run into to Mary. Yeah, and
Oh,
I saw Just So Viv was there, and then I didn't know Dee Dee was there. Is I
I
don't know.
haven't heard. Oh my God, I haven't heard Just So Viv in quite some time.
Yeah,
Has she been lurking
I'm not
on
sure.
your
I haven't.
screen?
Yeah, I haven't talked to Viv in a long time. Mary Ann Tea Cake. I know they were at Festival of Quilts together at some point over the last few years, but that was kind of the last time I saw her.
And
Aw, our
here,
friends.
yeah, here's our friend Carrie and Becky, and then this person in the middle here is Colleen Picorni, who is one of the founding members in my Facebook group. She also was part of a quilt in here. And then, do you guys? I can't. The thing that stinks about Instagram is I can't zoom into the photos, but you see these stickers right here? Those were designed by the Stephanie Cake last minute because we were like, dude, we gotta have some stickers. And like, look at this quilt back here. Holy bejesus. And then there's Becky. I actually, you know what I think
With the
is,
scissors, it's so cute.
I feel like her next set of eyeglasses should have this like heart
Art.
for the frame because she has an octagon frame, which is
hmm
really cool. And I think this should be the next frame. But yeah, that's
Been fun.
some things going
Weird things going on with my hair.
on the cult conness. Just sharing that.
Yeah.
Um, and I will say the other thing I had mentioned to you Stephanie, before us getting on stream is I have been seeing posts about the AQS show that's going on right now, like at the same time, I guess. And what is it, Daytona Beach or something?
Yep.
And I have to say that after the whole, SAQA censorship thing, I have not at all been engaging with those posts. Now, that makes me feel a little bit bad for the quilters in that show that their what's the word I want? Their exposure is obviously hurt by AQS's
Yeah.
behavior.
Yep.
Because obviously, like our friend Amy Pabst, she has a quilt that won something in that show.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Does she have
but I
something at QuiltCon?
don't know. I haven't seen her post about QuiltCon.
She won an award last year. She had 2 quilts last year and she won an award, but
Hmm. Yeah, I know
yeah.
something won at AQS.
Jan
Yeah,
said I think Ruby Star had a jumpsuit day.
they should. Um, but yeah, there's a part of me that's really like, AQS, like you definitely didn't do the rest of your filters
Yeah.
anything positive by getting such negative publicity.
It
And
is
I
a
know a lot of
shame.
people say like all
Yeah.
publicity is good publicity, and like, okay, but I don't
Well, yeah.
necessarily
I mean,
think that that's true in this case.
yeah. I mean, I thought about it, and I think I posted it in the Young Millennials post that you'd reposted one of my posts from
Mhm.
my page. Um,
Because I can't trust you to do it on your own.
I think I had made a comment. It benefited the 2 women whose quilts were, or well, I keep saying quilt. Yvonne's piece is not a quilt; it's a quilted object. It's more of a sculpture. So,
Hmm.
but those 2 pieces, I mean, they very well may have sold their quilts. Laura's may very well have gone to IQM, and Yvonne's may have very well been sold as well. But the fact that they pretty rapidly got those the sale and the acquisition, certainly AQS helped them. So it's kind of like it's one of those double-edged sword things, like for those 2 individuals it was a great thing. They got lots of publicity. Hyperallergic picked it up. I mean, that's their major contemporary art publication.
Hmm.
But I mean, at the expense of,
Everyone else.
yeah, I mean, all this
Yeah.
continuous censorship. And I so many people have said the exact words that I've said, like and said it better than I have. So
Which exact words?
just the fact, like, I mean, it's so ironic that this is has always been even though today contemporary modern, with a lot more men involved, but this has traditionally been a women's art and craft form.
Hmm.
And women's issues are, I, I mean, it's just one of those things, like like the irony of wanting to censor something that, I know that they were looking at Laura Shaw's quilt because it does talk about reproductive rights and abortion, and they looked at that and went, oh, the conservative Midwest can't handle this. And
Hmm.
I guess because Florida's pretty conservative too, can't handle this, so we better take that out. And then, I mean, the whole thing about Yvonne's piece, sculpturally, she never said anything about exactly what it was. They jumped to the conclusion that it was something uterine. I'm sure is what they thought.
Which blows my mind because it's also like just having uteruses are offensive now. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Just this, all of this stuff, like the censorship of women's bodies, and I mean, you guys that hang out with me on my stream, you guys know that, like, I don't get political, but I am like a card carrying / baseball bat carrying feminist. Like, don't mess around with ladies' rights, people. Okay, 50% of us make up this world, and all of you
Well,
came,
and without us,
came out of a woman.
Yeah, without us, we're not having any more people in this world.
Yes, exactly. If you're a human, you came out of a woman. So how about a little bit of recognition to your mother, if nobody else? Um, but just all all of this, like this making women's bodies problematic. And it's funny. I was legitimately Googling something. And I mean, you guys know the rabbit holes I go down. I'm legitimately Googling something I needed to find. And somehow I end up seeing this Reddit post where I'm like, ooh, what's this? You guys know I love the Am I an A-hole Reddit posts. So, of course, I go down this rabbit hole reading this post. And I was like, I cannot believe that this post is like a real thing that happened. Apparently, it was this younger woman. I think it said she was 23. And her in-laws have such an issue with her breastfeeding her baby in public. And so, like, when she's come to their house, they make her go to, like, another room. Well, apparently they come to her own house, her own home. She's feeding her baby in the living room at her own home, and they have an issue with it. And she said she's tried to use, like, those blankets. I think you kind of, like, loop it around the mom loops it around their neck and kind of it goes over the baby while they feed. Just for some privacy. She's like, the baby doesn't like that. And so she's like, I'm trying to be discreet. It's like, why should you have to be discreet? Men sexualize breasts. I know lots of boob men, okay? Men sexualize breasts, and it's like, really, what these are for is for nourishing humans. It's for nourishing baby infant humans. That's what they're for, and men have sexualized them, and therefore it's disgusting to feed your child in public. And that's a cultural thing here in the U.S. And I'm not really sure what the attitude is in Europe necessarily, but I know in other countries, like particularly developing nations, parts of Africa, Asia, if you are a worker that you can't have your child doesn't go to daycare, it's just completely natural to just
feed them.
And especially in places where there's water contamination. Like, we are privileged to be able to go, ew, breastfeeding, because it is a very natural and necessary thing in other places. Babies die if they drink contaminated water.
Well, babies can die if they drink water, period.
Babies thrive when they are, get their nutrition from their mother. So yeah, it's just obscene to me. And anyway, so what this Am I the A-hole was coming down to, like, apparently she was feeding the child, everybody was outside, and she's feeding the baby, and her father-in-law walks in and it's just like, oh, again? Why don't I just walk around with my junk flopping out? And I'm like, wait a minute. That part of you is meant for something sexual. This part of me is meant for feeding babies. That's not the same thing, my man. So
no, and it's her house. Don't come over.
Exactly. And so, the Am I the A-hole pretty much boiled down to, the real problem here is your husband, because he didn't tell his parents to, like, get the F out when they were acting like this. But I just started thinking about that, and then in the context of these two quilts being censored, and then looking at the history of AQS, and I mean, I talked about this on my stream ad nauseum, but Hollis Chatelaine was one of the censored quilts, AQS. I think that was 2005-ish. Kathy Nita, I think Alicia pronounced it Nita, and I always thought it was Nida, but I don't know. I've probably been pronouncing her name wrong. Her quilts were, and her multiple numbers of her quilts have been censored. So, but her main censorship with AQS was in 2016. And again, these are all over women's bodies. Hollis Chatelaine, she was a Peace Corps worker in Africa. And she had taken pictures just, in fields and marketplaces and things, and women with their babies. I mean, you strap your baby on and you go to work, I mean, that's just the way it works. And so she'd taken pictures, and they're beautiful pictures of just people. They're fantastic. And she's made them into quilts. And of course that got, can't show a boob. It got me censored on Twitch for talking about it. So I'm looking here as Twitch. I don't think Twitch has given y'all that warning. So.
Yeah, I was there for that stream.
I still can't get over that. And you guys, For those, there's a few people on Twitch watching. For you that, for maybe if you've watched before and you've had to click the yes, I'll watch this horrible porn riddled channel. I found out that what happened is when they censored me that one time, they added a adult content tag to my streams. So every time I'm starting like a stream, it's coming up as, oh Jesus, I used the P word. God forbid I used the real word for male genitalia. I believe our various discussions about boobs also set it off, but I showed the quilts. I also showed the quilts, and I would say Hollis Chatelaines. Apparently, you know, you can play video games on Twitch that show all kinds of things. And yeah, Robin said, yeah, every stream on Twitch has a content warning. I found it today. I got it out of there. So hopefully after today, you won't still be getting it. But we'll see.
I'm going to have to leave you to your own devices for a second because I really have to use the restroom. So,
should you not have taken care of that before this stream?
You know, I did, but I'm also drinking like a soda. So, you know, it's just going to be what it is. So you will have to fend for yourself.
It's not as if I don't talk to people 4 hours a week on my own.
That's true. I'll be right back.
And you know, I never eat on my stream, you guys, but today it just was so crazy that I never got around to eating. And my son made me this pizza, so I will eat a little bit of it. Jill and I were in a meeting recently, and somebody stayed off camera because they were eating dinner. And we had a little bit of a conversation about, like, you know, in this day and age, if you have to take a meeting during dinner time, people shouldn't have an issue with you eating dinner. I mean, think about a working lunch. If you were in an office together, you know, people often have working lunches. So I had to eat something the other day. I was like starving and I was in a meeting, and I told Jill, I was like, yeah, I'm off camera, not because I care whether other people see me eat, because I don't want to sit here and like watch myself eat. I can watch myself talking. I feel gross when I see myself eating. So, yeah. So, what are you guys working on today? I know sometimes some of you are doing housework and things, and I know, LJ, you're often working on binding or finishing something. Ah, half square triangles. Awesome. And what's the weather situation for everybody? Oh, Jan's working on some scrap blocks. Very nice. Jill asked me what I was going to be working on. And besides working on eating this pizza, I need to start printing out and tracing my blocks for my study quilt, which I can't show, but I don't know, I think I can talk about it. Let's see. So LJ, 20 more blocks in the air. Oh, I'm sorry, birds in the air blocks. I'm trying to think of what those look like. Is that the one that's... No, that's something different. I can't remember. I'll have to look that up. Robin is cross-stitching. Oh, Fat Quarter Shop, Hometown Neighborhood Sunflower House. Oh, I don't know if I've seen that one, but I have seen some of their cross-stitch patterns and stuff, and they're very cute. Our friend Molly has been working on some really fun cross-stitch stuff. I saw on her Instagram, she puts up some really, really cool, like, in-progress pictures. 10 triangles in a big half square triangle. Okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. It's the half square triangles where, like, if you were to make them a certain bunch of colors, they would be like ocean waves, right? Like that density of triangles, I think. Yeah. Okay. Half square triangles on point. Yeah. Actually, let's see. It's never far. It's never far. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. So let's see. and find it in here. Birds, birds. Birds, 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 birds. Birds in a square. Birds in the air.
Hang on back.
Let's see. Birds, birds, birds. Birds in the air. 260. What was that? 264. Let's see.
Get this weird thing out of the way. I also had to grab a quick snack because your pizza looked really good.
Let's see. 2341. Where are you?
What are you looking up?
It's so LJ is making birds in the air blocks, and I think that the version that Brackman has might be a little bit different. I think she's saying this one is birds in the air, but I'm wondering if you're doing something that's more like a half of the thing with these. But yeah, you know, I haven't looked in my Brackman in a while, but I have to say, Barbara's brain just amazes me. You know, I know her. I mean, I don't know her super well, but I know her well enough now that her brain amazes me, and just the fact, you know, she's how many editions of this have come out? This is the third edition. Yeah, so this is the third edition.
And apparently, like, she spends her days on her computer,
Yeah,
like sorting files and filing
Yeah.
things. And
yeah, she is prolific with this stuff. I was reading. I have I got an
you guys
issue
can
of
like, I have like quilts just like hiding in like every space in the house. I can see like one like in the back on back here.
yeah. So
And
Barbara,
that doesn't include the stack that's over here or the bag of quilts over here. Sorry.
I have just a heap over there. It's like they literally
Oh,
looks
I
like
have like 5 piles in the room that's over here.
we have a
It's a
problem.
lot. Mm.
We truly have a problem. But I was gonna say I was reading it was 1981 Uncoverings, and Barbara had an article in there about the like the World's Fair winning quilts. She talked about the 1933 stuff, but she also talked about the 1893, 1883, 1893. I can't remember the Columbian Exposition, the one in Chicago.
Okay.
She talked about those. So,
You know, speaking of quilts sitting in this room, there is a box in this room that came from a recent auction
oh,
that I haven't opened.
so interesting. I haven't seen
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
Um,
like should I maybe open a box?
You could. You could. So we got some comments. I asked some questions while you were gone. So let's see.
I was gonna say, where are these comments? Because they're not on Facebook.
Yeah, let's see. So Kate is ironing scraps, and one just melted on my iron. Pre-wash scraps. One just melted on my iron. Oh no.
Oh, it melted?
Yeah, what does she say? It's it was linen but had some poly stitching that melted. Yeah.
Oh man. God, having melted crap on your iron is the
Yeah,
worst.
you know, and I hate it. It's like you can get that stuff to clean it, but if you have the steam holes, it like gets down to the steam holes and you're like in there.
You know, I'm kind of at the point where, and I don't use my iron to iron really much of anything other than cotton stuff. But I I recently ended up getting like this weird buildup on it, and I tried that crap to clean it, and it made it worse. So I was just like, okay, so I guess we're just like at this point in consumerism where if you get crap on your iron, it just goes bye-bye because like I tried really hard to save that thing because I liked that iron a lot. But I was just like, it just left more junk on the iron, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, you have to not only get the gunk off, but you have to get the cleaning stuff off. It's a
It
pain.
well, and it also ruined one of my ironing pads because the
Mm-hmm.
cleaning stuff it's really like oily and
Yeah,
I'm
it's kind of
like,
the same concept of like if you burn something on a pan, like whatever the stuff that's in dishwashing detergent, like, and you soak it, it starts to do whatever it does to. There's
I would rather
surfactants and
clean
phosphates and whatnot.
I would rather clean crap off a pan any day than, and I used, it's funny, I use like multiple different things. I tried that thing with when you use like salt or something. I
Mm-hmm.
tried that one where you use a dryer sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing would budge
You actually,
this crap.
my experience is you actually have to use elbow grease, like just doing what they tell you to like do this kind of thing with it to clean it. Now, like you have to hold it and like get in the little grooves and stuff, like with the iron on. You need like protective hand gear with the iron on and like scrubbing the crap out of it.
Yeah,
Um,
I just don't want to. You know what I
well,
mean? Like, you know how we all have those things in life that we're just like, that is never going to be worth that effort. That's mine. That's one of
okay,
mine.
all right.
The
Well, you're
iron
allowed.
thing.
You're allowed to. You're allowed to have that. All
Yeah.
right, my hair.
I mean, I'll save them for you if you want to play with them. Dude, what is going on with your bangs?
I need to get them cut. They're long and they're annoying me, and I have this like chunk over here that doesn't wanna.
I think it's
It looks.
cute that you say you need to get them cut like you
It's
didn't
weird.
cut them
Oh
yourself.
yeah, I cut them myself. I need like an overall haircut. So
I do too. I was actually like washing my hair today and I I was like, am I going bald? Like my hair is feeling really flat and thinned and odd. And I was like, it's probably just because my hair dryer died and I haven't like replaced it. Because obviously when your hair air dries as opposed to when you blow dry it, it's like got a lot more oomph to it. But I'm like, wow, I'm feeling my hair is long and it's starting to feel like a rat tail and you know, we're bonding while we're here.
yes. So
Dude,
okay.
I totally used the magic iron cleaner and it was junk. It was just crap a doodah. It did
See, and
not.
I've used it and it worked fine for me. So Robin said my maternal grandmother was one of those people that would spend the time. Yes, my oh my goodness, yes. My maternal grandmother was the same way. She would sit there and just like scrub a little stain for hours until it was gone. LJ says use some baking soda, but make sure you have the shiny sole plate, not a ceramic one. Yeah. I have
Yeah.
several hair dryers around the house just in case. You never know when you're going to need a good hair dryer.
You know something? I bought the one that died. It had been on hospice for a long time. Like and like someone had banged it or dropped it and that back part that
Someone.
covers the filter. It wasn't me. No, it wasn't me. Um
Yeah,
and that back part that covers the filter had come off
I'm
and
familiar.
like yeah, like it was not in good shape. So when it literally blew up in my hand, I was not at all surprised. I had bought one a while ago when I still worked at Kohl's. So 2020, I left in 2022 and I bought one that was like on sale and it was one of those nicer ones, like Chi or something like that. And I just don't know where it is. And I was like, I really need to find that because I don't want to go out and buy a new one,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that there's one hiding somewhere.
Yeah,
Um,
back in the day when I was like super gainfully employed.
wait, super gainfully employed?
Yeah,
So you
not
just
just
been, like
not just
gainfully employed?
gainfully employed, but like super gainfully employed. I had one of those tourmaline ionic dryers, hair dryers. Fantastic. I mean, like just fantastic. And it cost a lot of money, and I used it for a very long time, and then I dropped it, and of course the stuff. So LJ says they're so easy to drop, and then it's all over 100%. Especially if you drop it in the tub. Just kidding. I've never done that.
I've never done that.
Usually they last a year. The last one I had we did about 14 years. Yeah, mine probably made it.
Mine lasted a long time.
10.
But
yeah,
I don't blow dry my
8.
hair. I don't blow dry every day.
Yeah.
And often I don't blow dry it like completely, just parts of it. So like
yeah, I never blow dry my hair every day. I have not blow dried my hair now. Like, I might have had to use my mom's hair dryer when we were at a seminar, maybe, because I had to like blow out my bangs or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's usually what I'm doing is I might be blowing out some layers or something. But yeah, half of me today when I was like washing my hair and just feeling like, wow, my hair's getting kind of long. It's feeling like, maybe it's time to like cut it and like, do some things to it so it's not feeling depressed. Like maybe that's what it like. I know I wear it up a lot, but like maybe my hair is just feeling depressed.
Yeah, those ionic dryers are really good. I miss an ionic dryer.
So I guess we have agreed that I should open a box.
Sure. Yeah. Pull it out. Let's see.
Okay. I'm gonna try to get off the couch without like moving the computer that much. Or like having you just stare at my butt. Yeah.
So LG, I'm assuming you mean me. I guess, yeah, because Jill doesn't have a fringe. See, I've been going for like the Bieber flop, not Beaver, Bieber, the Justin Bieber, hair thing. I've always tried that, and it's never really worked until recently. But now it's stopped working. I feel like it's. Thank you, I appreciate it. But yeah, I know if I'm going to see my mom in a few weeks, and I'll get a appointment with her hair person. He's actually a family friend, so
I like don't even remember what I got.
I have forgotten too.
But I'm really enjoying the blue binding on this quilt.
Oh, thank you, LJ. Yeah, it's my hair is actually quite fine, but I have a lot of it. So each individual piece of hair is like very fine, and it gets frizzy really easy because I have some natural wave back here. I have hair like my father, which is straight in the front and curly in the back. And yeah. Oh, the basket. I forgot about the basket. So if you guys watched what was this? This was Dana's, or no, this was the AQS job. Yeah, I was gonna say this is the seminar auction.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So did you get 2 quilts or 3?
I think I got 2. But yeah, you guys can go watch that replay if you didn't see it and you want to.
We were with Julie Silber, you guys. If you didn't see that one, it was us and Julie Silber. Oh yes, I loved this one. They did just such a great job with that little. I mean, would that be a shirting? The white, is that considered a shirting? Print?
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
yeah.
It's so very sweet.
That little print on the back, and then they like flip flopped the color reversal thing. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then remember this shirting print?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's so cute.
Yeah. And I really I didn't pay attention during the auction, but the binding is this cute little blueprint.
Oh yeah. And is that on the back, or is that's completely separate and different? What's on the back? It's
completely separate. The back is just a plain.
White? Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah.
It's like a what we would probably consider today like a muslin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. LJ says very similar block to my birds in the air. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. In your case, what you described, that's what I was envisioning, like that one half of the basket, the that's in my mind what the birds in the air looks like.
This one has some really bananas quilting on it.
This one I vaguely remember, but I can't think of what it looks like.
This one's big.
And do you remember who donated these?
Well, that basket one, Dana Auctions donated.
Okay.
I don't. This one came from
I
Lisa
know some.
Bouchard Home.
Oh, okay. I know sometimes people don't like to. They don't like to say. They like to be anonymous. Mm-hmm.
Oh
Okay,
my
this
God,
one.
it's so big. I can't even. I can't even like my wingspan can't even hold the whole thing up. It's so big.
So LJ's wondering, will you be selling these? Or are these your collection?
I haven't decided. Well, this one in my hand, I paid a lot for. So,
And
but
this
yeah,
one, this one has got an. It's overall, it's faded, probably from washing and or consistent sunlight across of it. And my thing is, it's probably been washed and hung outside, and that's why it's faded. But, it's in really good condition otherwise, right?
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got Julie and I, if you go watch that replay, you can see some of the fading here
Mm-hmm.
in the brown. It's it's fading in like a classy way. Where a
Classy
lot of
way.
times in fading, right, you'll have a quilt that just has this big stripe
Yeah,
of
because it
fading
was
across
yeah,
it.
it was folded and faded. This one, I guarantee you, this one was gently used. It was probably hung outside, and
Yeah, so the fading seems to have a little bit to do with where the scrunching from the quilting
mm-hmm.
is.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that it's from washing and drying that made it like that. Because that's, I mean, that's the kind
But
of
yeah,
wear you
the
see.
quilting in this thing is just bananas. Are you seeing that well enough?
I can, yeah, I can see it. It's, yeah,
It's like
very
different
nice.
quilting in every border and then the center. It's
So
crazy.
pretty, so very
Crazy.
pretty.
LJ, are you telling me that if I do sell that you want first dibs? Is that what you're saying? And then I also just realized there is another box here that I got months ago that I know who it came from, but I don't remember what's in it.
Oh my gosh, Jill. Granted, if
Are
I've,
you judging me?
I am, and it's probably just because I have no self control. When I get something, even if I 100% know what it is, I rarely can let it just sit there unopened for like more than a day.
Oh no, I'm notoriously a terrible box opener. Hold on, I need scissors.
Well, I always have to just check and make sure like it didn't get destroyed, it didn't get damaged. It's what I think it is.
No, I'm really bad at like not always opening stuff. Yes, I'm totally opening this right now with like my little tiny thread scissors.
Yeah, I use all kinds of stuff. Even though I have several nice box cutters reserved for package opening, I'm always like, oh, my car keys will work. Oh, here's this push pin. I'll just stab it through the tape. Got to do what you got to do, y'all. I'm really curious to know what this is.
Oh.
Well, in the meantime, I think Robin mentioned that the weather in Reno is nice. Quite spring-like. I think we're getting. I think this morning we were in the 20s, but we've gone. The weather here has gone like exponentially nicer. Hey, Eva, long time no see. How are you?
Eva Little of the Little Chip Report?
Yeah.
Hi, Eva.
Eva Little of the Eva Little Chip Report. Yes. That has been a long time ago. That's a blast from the past. Well, this is very pretty. So is this cheddar and navy? Is that navy blue, the block?
Yeah,
The
yeah, it's a really dark navy. I got this from another dealer who's not, they're not a quilt dealer per se, they're a quilt repurposer, but they only repurpose really tattered stuff.
mm-hmm.
So if they have stuff that's in better shape. Now, this does have like some issues. Like there's some issues here where the brown isn't doing super great.
Oh, yeah. Brown is such a problematic fabric.
Yeah, but there's some, this would definitely be like a really good like folded or study because it
Mm-hmm.
does have like some really
Oh yeah,
great
very nice.
fabrics.
Very nice.
Here's
Yeah.
some
So
pink.
Robin likes that one. LJ says navy alternate blocks are fetching, and I agree. I think navy and cheddar look so good together.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah, this is just
chromium.
looking at a lot
Oh
of
yeah, I
different.
love those stripes. I think those stripes are so great.
So there's this.
Eva says weather is nice, only single digits in the negative. Oh, Canada. Oh, I see pinky pinky. Is that a double pink?
It's a red. It's a red.
Oh, it's red. Okay. Oh, wow. That's
The
pretty.
backing fabric on this though. Oh, yeah, it's definitely a reddish color, but yeah, all the blocks and such are the same.
Yeah, and like, what is
But
that print? Like the blue.
which one?
Yeah, Eva, QuiltCon is this weekend. Some of us aren't there. Oh, I love that blue. That's really interesting. And yeah, that blue would. Oh, it's like a green. I thought that was a brown. That red brown from a distance. It's really a. Is it like a?
No, it's more brown than
Oh,
green.
is it okay? It looks kind of like an olive color.
Yeah, a little bit. But the backing on this,
So that's a print too. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, and that's a little gingham. The gingham binding.
the binding is just a front to back.
Oh, it's a front to back. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hmm.
That's really pretty. What are the dates on those?
You know what? I don't even remember.
When in
She
doubt,
might have,
1880.
yeah, she might have not even dated it to be honest with you, but like this blue looks pretty 1880-ish to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always feel like when in doubt, if you think it's probably 19th century, just go with 1880. And if it looks really old, 1860. You're probably safe.
So yeah, there's another pile of quilts I need to fold when we're done.
And are those what is your intent? Are those for study
The ones
or
those two that just came in.
say they're for inventory?
Yeah, I'll probably sell those. Yeah, you can see now you can see one of the boxes up on the chair there. Because I'm just like, I will fold those later. I will really fold them. Now, whether or not they go anywhere after the folding, they're usually neatly folded. Each stack is something different. Occupational hazard.
Yeah, I have the problem of getting quilt stacks too tall, and that's never good. Because that's bad for the quilts on the bottom. They're
Hmm.
getting squashed. Um, yeah.
I do have a table in the other room that I set up when I came back from that Mid-Atlantic antique show.
Yeah.
And I use that table just to unpack the quilts from my car and just so they had just a spot to go because my quilt room is on the third floor. So carrying a bunch of quilts down from the car up 2 flights of stairs all at once is a lot. So I'm like, they can rest here before we start bringing some up. Well, it happened that like I just started listing quilts from that pile, instead of like going and putting them away. I'm like, I'll just put these online. And then what happened is I was bringing more in from going shopping, elsewhere. And I started processing them down here instead of bringing them upstairs to process. And that stack has just gotten
So
larger.
you have two areas of quilt inventory. Your room and your dining room.
Do you guys want to see? Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
Okay. No judgment. Okay. Don't be
We
all
listen.
judgy wudgy was a bear. Okay. Like,
We don't judge. We listen and we don't judge.
but I know that that's not true. Okay.
If you're
I'm just
if
gonna,
you're brave
I'm gonna,
enough.
I'm gonna turn my camera off for a minute just so people don't get sick. Although I've somewhat locked myself into this room with the box of quilt side that I just opened.
Yeah,
If you hear a crash,
you guys don't get to see what's back here. There are quilts and scary things and piles of stuff. Actually, one time, early in my streaming, one of these fell, and I was like, it was like, you know, don't pay attention to the lady behind the curtain.
So, for anyone curious,
that's a really tall.
this light behind me is an antique light. Here is a stack of quilt tops.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I don't want to reveal everything in this room. Here is another stack of quilt tops. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Ooh. Here's another stack of quilt tops. Well, not quilt tops, these are actual quilts.
Yeah, I was gonna say this look like quilts.
Yeah.
LJ said, "Wow," or is that judgy? No, it's not judgy.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to offer to schlep them up 2 flights of stairs, although I do now just try to kind of work from this pile down here, instead of necessarily stairs.
Do you know what you have in
neater.
do you know what you have in inventory now?
Like how many?
Mm-hmm.
Over 400.
Okay, I knew it was around 400 at one point.
Well, no, I can't find you a number because I do have a pile that's not processed yet. Over 400.
LJ says, "Oh yes, work from that pile."
Yeah, so well, if I'm working from the pile, I only have to bring it up like 1 flight of stairs to photograph.
Uh-huh.
So I try to do that first.
See, I'm imagining like, I mean, I do have piles of quilts I carry, you know, upstairs, downstairs. Mine really is more carrying out to the car to go to the storage unit. But I feel like if I had a lot of quilts to drag upstairs, I would get one of those little children's sleds. Those ones that are like a little Tykes sled, so it's like very smooth on the bottom, and then pile it with quilts and then just trudge up the stairs with it.
Ideally, what would be fantastic is to maybe get like an office space that can be photography,
Yeah.
and where they live. Because I do kind of fantasize about that a lot. I do like the storage system I've created upstairs. But that room is not good for photography. It doesn't get good enough light. So I'm often doing photography in the master bedroom. There will be another bedroom that will eventually be really nice for photography. Because it's like it's one of those like kind of 3-season like sleeper porches.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, things won't be like disturbed out there, but
you need a work shed in the backyard. Yeah. You know, I love this space that Quilt Folk leases from the Iowa Quilt Museum. That
Mm-hmm.
top floor. They have, I mean, it's beautiful light. It's, you know, it's just a nice space.
I mean,
the Quilt Museum was
honestly,
amazing.
if for any reason the New England Quilt Museum didn't have a library anymore, that space I could lease from them because that door locks, and use that space because it has really good lighting in there.
Nice. Well, just a heads up, y'all. I'm clearing this room out and I'm bringing my things here. I'm sure your executive director would love that.
Hey, if I was paying her money, I'm sure she'd be like, okay.
Yeah, just like my husband loves when there's a new quilt in the house. He always says,
Well,
he always says, what are you getting rid of to have that, you know, to give space to that? And I'm like, no.
At a certain point, I'd be like, you, honey, I'm getting rid of you.
You're about a stack of 12 quilts.
Yeah, you're like, I can now put all this crap on your chair. I always joke with Pam and Laura at the museum, the curator and the collections manager, like, hey, if you guys are doing a exhibit or something and you need something to fill a gap, I'm like, I'll loan you something, ask me if I've got. So I can just imagine like walking into my studio in there one day and I open the door and both of them are in there like looking through everything. Like, do you have something that has blah 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 blah, blah on it?
Yeah, so yes, I can see Pam Weeks on her knees with a lockpick. Hey, Leah. So Leah said, just remember, some of us have quilts and tops and then add blocks and all the other stuff like clothes, etc. And some paper stuff too. I'll never judge, yes. You
Well,
just
keep in mind
described
too.
my cutting table back here is just...
Keep in mind too. All you were just looking at were some quilts and some tops. I also have needlework tools inventory as well. Most all of that is already
How do
upstairs
you
because
keep that? How do you keep that stuff? Do you pack it like in boxes, or how do you? Because that's all like little teeny things. I mean, I know I use
Well, I have
like
some of
tubs and
you know those pretty inexpensive plastic drawer containers that like it's like a cube and it might have like five little plastic drawers in it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I have some of those.
Oh, okay.
They're upstairs in my third floor room there. There's a walk-in closet that I put some shelving units into. They're the same shelving units that are in the room that hold the quilts. They're usually tall and
Mm-hmm,
they go in, people put them in their basements. They're plastic.
mm-hmm. I'm
We just
familiar
took
with
them
those.
apart. So it's two and two because the ceiling upstairs is slanted, so I can't
Mm-hmm,
put, well, so half of them are, so the one half of it's outside the room. I've got some more, the other half is inside the room. So there's shelves and I'll have things on there that
gotcha.
might be like small boxes that hold like everything's got a tag on it, an
Mm-hmm.
inventory number tag.
Oh, gotcha.
And then
Okay.
yeah, and then remember when you and I were in Pennsylvania, I haven't like organized it yet, but if you recall, in the like vendor area of that store, I bought some
Yes,
vendor cases
you did.
that
Uh
have
huh.
little cubbies in them.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't like put stuff into that.
Gotcha.
There's some
Okay.
other little, there's another little like shelving unit in the room um that has a lot of a lot of those Chinese ceramic pincushions on them
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Then there's another little, I have a thing of wicker drawers that have a lot of loose blocks and things. And then there's a lot of things that haven't been organized and put away because that in and of itself is a lot of work. I do like that work. I do like the organizing it, moving it around and this and that. But I don't know about y'all. My motivation lately to do that business stuff, because for one, I am heavily involved in volunteer crap between doing the Quilt Museum, AQSG, ugh, doing stuff that we do here. This is unpaid labor. I'm so heavily involved in all of those projects going on. It's not that I don't have time. I definitely have time. I'm just with the state of the world and things, I'm often just like my physical energy. It's also winter. My physical amount of energy is just kind of like meh, especially if I've just like cleaned the kitchen or something.
Yeah,
And
I got it. On a lighter note, Leah said that she was able to get Alicia connected with a Virginia quilt that will be donated. So is it what is the same quilt you described to her, Leah, when we were on? Do you remember that? And
that's
she said,
really
"Yeah,
exciting.
that is exciting. Yeah, yay! Yeah, because that was an early quilt, right? And I know she said she doesn't have a whole lot of super early quilts in her. Yeah, that is so cool.
LJ,
We are responsible. We are responsible. Yeah.
so do you think like we should get like a
Yeah.
mention in like
1830.
the accession
Oh
tag?
yeah, yes, yes. Well, I'll be sure to
Paperwork?
get in touch with Alicia about that. Quilt nerding must be. I
Speaking,
mean,
well, speaking of quilt nerding, For I don't know if anyone is a subscriber of Friday Fiber Arts newsletter. Um, but I got an email today. I am not a subscriber of that newsletter. I'd never even heard of it before, but I got a an email today about the fact that we were mentioned in that newsletter and our interview with Alicia with a direct link to like go watch it and stuff. I thought that was really exciting. I did not reach out to them. I don't even know them. Alicia
Yeah.
says it wasn't her.
Yeah. Well, I
I
do get
assumed
the
it had to be her.
newsletter. I do get the newsletter because I subscribe to Fiber Arts magazine.
But
I
I had
show.
to tell you to read it.
Yeah, and that's terrible. I'm so terrible with newsletters. Like I'll skim them sometimes and see, and I just with QuiltCon, there's been a whole bunch of stuff coming out, and that one came out, and I kind of glossed over it, but I hadn't deleted it or anything. And when you told me, I was like, yeah, I do get that newsletter. Why are you asking me? Because it's not quilts, it's fiber arts. So anyway, yeah, that was really cool. That was pretty exciting when somebody picks you up and you're like, that's really exciting.
Well, and it was the New England Quilt Museum. It was a New England Quilt Museum board member
Yeah.
that emailed me and had watched the interview with Alicia and then had been like, "Hey, I saw this thing." And I was like, "Oh." Speaking of,
Yeah.
LJ was like, "I wish I could do something to help with my complaining about like being overworked, not paid, not losing motivation." LJ, other than physical labor to come and help, I can tell you specifically probably one of the most motivating things would be if like if we were at a point already where we could be getting like ad revenue. We're not. We're quite far from being able to get ad revenue. Um, but if we were at a point where there was like consistent funds coming in that would take some pressure off of the fact that we don't make a living doing this. That would be helpful. I will say, I won't name names in case they don't want their name named. But we did get our first on that Buy Me a Coffee account that we have that's always in the description there. There's an option on there now, apparently, to do a monthly payment. And we got our first one at the beginning of the year by someone who pledged a monthly payment of $25. So that was, and to that person, mwah, 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 mwah. Um, but that was very exciting. So
Leah says we're famous. Well,
hardly.
in the whole scheme of things, I used to joke, well, Cake, I'm a Z-list celebrity. Z-list
Mm.
celebrity. I think we've managed to like elevate at least my brand to like I'm like a W-list celebrity now. A few rungs, up a few rungs, yeah.
I
Oh,
mean, maybe,
we like to have
maybe,
fun, you know.
what?
We like to have fun, you know. I mean,
Yeah. No, we're
L-
just we're just here to have a good time, and we're here to make everyone feel better about their quilt stacks.
yeah.
And
LJ says our enthusiasm helps her so much. And yeah, I mean, sometimes I know like I'll be having a bad day and I'll get on my stream or, Tuesday nights, I think sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. But yeah, it does perk you up to be with friends. So, yeah.
well, and especially, I just realized I have to plug myself in. Especially I had said to Steph numerous times, like I felt like gone a little while since doing one of these, and I find that these kinds of streams are especially like food for the soul because we're not following any kind of schedule or
Yeah.
promise of content. We're not trying to put stuff together. I'm not scrambling to like get reading done. You know, it's just chilling. And we've barely talked about food so far. And it's already 3:40.
Yeah, I was just thinking I looked at the time. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's not too late yet, but I have to think about what to do for dinner. I don't know. Last night was a junk food extravaganza, so
Which was
so we've always done this thing like in some years it's more upscale, but we'll do like I don't know, like every 6 months or so just have this like appetizer dinner. It's like all appetizers. And sometimes it's like I've made things from scratch that are, finger foods, but
Mm-hmm.
more often than not, it's just go to the frozen food appetizer selection and get like the TGI Fridays potato skins and the Farm Rich mozzarella sticks and like
Mm-hmm.
Detroit pizza, frozen pizza, and stuff like that, which is fun to eat. And then the next day you're like, oh. Um, we don't do it that often, but last night was I don't feel like cooking at all. And I said to my husband, I was like, I know there's a frozen pizza. And he's like, do we have any of those leftover appetizer things from our appstravaganza? Which was, I think, the Super Bowl. I think we got them for Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, yeah. You had mentioned it at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I was like, actually, yeah, I haven't touched that stuff. And here's the proof that we are getting older, and that a few years ago it would have been like appstravaganza and no leftovers. This time it was like two, like I think two mozzarella sticks, one potato skin, and I'm trying to remember what was the other. Oh, he
I'm
gets
gonna be starving by the time we're done here.
sorry, and he gets the this chicken, this new brand of chicken that tastes exactly, and I kid you not, exactly like Chick-fil-A chicken, like Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets. This brand he's found, and I don't know if it's a if
I've
it's
never had Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets.
oh well, in any event, so we had some of that, and anyway.
Anyway,
I paid the price, and but my point being, like, yeah, eating it multiple times over a couple of weeks, that's not good for me. What was we have developed our new catchphrase after talking to our friend Alicia. Alicia's like, that's not for Alicia, and we're like, that's a nice way of saying like boo. So I'm like, that is not for Stephanie. I like that. It's a nice way of saying thing.
and it's funny. Well, you have to go watch the replay of the interview because it was super fun. I think we went about 2 hours almost,
Yeah, I
and
think it was about an hour and a half. Yeah, hour and 45.
it well, it was funny because it was nighttime. Leisha had been at work all day.
Oh, I
There
felt
was an
bad.
event going on at her museum, and we were kind of being like, like we should probably wrap this up so like you can go home. And then she kept going. So we were just like, okay. But by the end, it's like, go home. Like you've been work. I don't know. I feel like she said she got up at like 7 that morning or
Yeah,
something.
I think she'd been at the museum since 8 that morning, and we were at that point I think 8:45 at night
Yeah.
talking to her.
Yeah.
I'm
And
like,
we were like,
lady,
oh my
go home.
God, go home. Yeah. But she did say that she's like happy to come back anytime
And that's
because
the thing. Like, in talking to Alicia, it's like I love to talk to a person that obviously loves their job.
mm,
And like and she's really good at it.
hmm
Yeah, LJ said she had many intriguing things to say, and I agree. She's a super smart person, and I've only known her for, I
couple
guess,
years.
yeah. I mean, I first met her in Louisville, so I guess I've known her about a year and a half. And yeah, she's really smart, and she's just like really on top of things at her museum, and I think she's doing really amazing things.
She's super involved
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah,
for a director that doesn't quilt to be a director of a quilt museum, she is
yeah,
very involved in the community
mm-hmm.
with quilters or with other museum people.
Yeah,
She comes to AQSG stuff, even though I don't think she would say I don't think she does any actual research herself. She's just
mm-hmm.
soaking it up like a plant. And
Yeah.
meeting people. She likes to do a lot of collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
She's doing all the things. I mean, I think a lot of brick and mortar places. I mean, I think we've talked about this like with our local quilt shops, and I think the museums, small museums, whether they're quilt museums or other types of small museums, they really struggle with the fact that things are not so brick and mortar anymore, and especially the pandemic, right? I mean,
mhm.
I'm sure that you guys felt it at New England Quilt Museum in the pandemic. It's like people aren't coming out, people aren't doing stuff. So many people had to sort of switch to online things, and then what do you do when you want to, we're not pandemic-y anymore. Like, what do you do then? How do you get people back? And I feel like all the things that Alicia's done in her museum are just really good case study for how do you transition from, the world was like a brick and mortar place, and then it became more technology, and then everything shut down, and then we're still all technology. And like you're saying, all the things she's done to be involved in her community, and just getting to know quilts when she's an administrator and not necessarily a quilt person. I just so much respect for her, and yeah, I'm so glad we got to talk to her, and I'm glad she's our friend.
I know, right? That's one of those moments where I'm like, maybe we're like maybe we're like a U level celebrity.
I can't wait till I get to like somewhere in the MNLOP LMNOP area.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it would be really exciting um if this was like a viable, somewhat viable, not necessarily a full-time viable, but some kind of a viable income to a certain extent.
Well,
Because I'll tell you, Stephanie and I, we get invited a lot of places already. There's a lot of museums and institutions and things where people are like, come out and look at our stuff. Now, they're not going to pay to bring us out. We're not popular enough for that. And I like that we don't have to demand that they pay to bring us out, because that could actually mean we don't get as many invitations. But the fact that like places have been inviting us in and they're not expecting anything monetary from us per se is really exciting, but we have to pick and choose. Like we can't go to everything because of the cost of traveling to get there.
yeah,
And that
I agree.
stinks.
It does. If only everything were free. If only my good looks could get me everywhere I want to go.
Yeah, why are you slacking?
Yes, Jan just said it. We need to like and share our content. Indeed.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've always said, and I think this is just something that I have to be reminded of it too. But when you're looking at online content, you have to you have to like and share. Like that's the currency of this. So
Well,
um,
comments too, get even more uh, algorithm love
mhm.
than just the liking and the sharing does
Yeah,
now, because it's showing actual interaction and not necessarily quote bot interaction.
gotcha. Yeah.
Um,
Um,
like I
LJ
guess at
said,
one point,
I just remembered yesterday all the topics we have covered. It's an outstanding masterclass. Jan, and
yeah,
subscribe. Yes, subscribe.
yes, definitely subscribe. The subscribing on YouTube here is what gets us to a point where we can get
Yes, we
money
need
for
we need
ads.
500. We got to have 500, and I
Well,
can't remember.
500 we can do subscriptions. A
Right.
thousand is to
Oh,
get
is a
ads.
thousand is monetized? Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I
Mhm.
knew that it had to do with number of subscribers and number of hours watched. So
Oh yeah, no, there that other stuff is on top of the other stuff, but we aren't having a hard time hitting those numbers. It's the subscribers that
and
is a lot
I don't
struggling.
know, just in terms of familiarity with YouTube, I know it's confusing sometimes. I've noticed if you're not somebody who's like across a whole bunch of different social media channels, some of them call stuff different things. So like if you follow me on Twitch, you know that as a Twitch subscriber, you have to pay for that. If you don't want
Hmm.
to subscribe, then yes, Leah, exactly. So you are a Twitch subscriber. Yes, and that is something that you have to put your credit card in for, or your Amazon account on Twitch. Um, and if you don't want to pay for, do a paid subscription, well, then on Twitch, you just follow. So follow is just, I've connected with this person. I can get their alerts, but I still have to watch commercials because I'm not a paid subscriber. Here on YouTube, well, we're on YouTube and Twitch at the same time right now. So on YouTube, you subscribe and that's following. That's just getting the notifications. Um, and I'm trying to think, what is it when somebody has subscriptions on YouTube? What is that called? Is that just
It's
called
called memberships. I think it's called membership.
membership? Okay. Why can't they all just get on the same page?
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so Leah, where do we prefer? Well, both.
Yeah, well, see, but that's the thing, isn't it? Is that your Twitch thing is by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and this is
Yeah.
us. Now, I it might be worth a conversation at some point if if quilt nerding became viable enough that maybe we merge them. But Stephanie already has a decent tier all by herself. So we're not at a point here where
Yeah.
it can be like, hey, come in and let's split that because she
Yeah.
did that by herself. But if quilt nerding met up with that, then maybe that is a conversation at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe we're just always dual streaming or something like
Right.
that. But at the
And
moment, that's the thing. One is
yeah,
just
and
Stephanie, and one is Herna.
it's and Leah just also brought up that some people have premium accounts on YouTube, so you don't get commercials. Yes, and but I think that doesn't matter in terms of like if we get to the point where we can monetize.
If we
People
get to
that
the point
have
of
yeah,
getting
people
ad
that have
revenue,
YouTube Premium, they're the YouTube content person still gets a piece of that. It's a tiny
yep,
piece of it in
yep.
lieu of the commercials. Yeah. So
Mhm.
it's just, the thing is, I know people have asked me about, why do you stream on Twitch? And I'm like, I'll be honest with you, it's because you can monetize it right away. I only had to have 50 subscribers to turn on ads. And so it's pretty easy. Now, with Twitch, I mean, I love having paid subscribers. Don't get me wrong, you guys. Like, I love having paid subscribers. It's just, it's like you love me and you're willing to pay to watch me. Like, I love that. But the ads also give me a little bit of money on Twitch. So it's like, you know,
Yeah, one of the pros and cons is that it takes longer to get monetized on YouTube, especially if what we're doing is so niche.
yeah.
So you hear about these other channels that blow up pretty quickly, and it's because like for a maker channel, they can blow up a lot faster. There's a lot more makers out there than there might be people that are interested in what we do or that don't yet know they're interested in what we do.
So
But
that's,
anyways,
yes, that's what we're trying to
once
do.
once we get to the point of being monetized on the YouTube side, we actually get a bigger cut of the money than Stephanie does on the Twitch side.
Yeah.
So that's part of the argument for why we didn't just automatically put this on Twitch is because
Yeah.
there's some give and take. And since we're two people that would have to split things further, and that's assuming we even got to the point of really being able to take money in. If it at this point, at this moment, if it just covered us going places and doing things, I'd be okay with that. But
Mm-hmm.
since we have to split it more, then we want to be somewhere where we're getting a bigger cut of things than Stephanie would get on Twitch by herself.
Yeah.
They keep like what, 50%, I think.
On the subscriptions, yeah.
Hmm.
And their ad
I think
revenue is based on a whole bunch of other different things.
Yeah, I think for YouTube, I think we get to keep something like 70%.
Yeah.
So,
So,
a
and
lot of
the
back end
question of
gobbledygook.
the question of Patreon, yes, that is something that I am considering, and I've kind of already started with some stuff. But with Patreon, I mean, obviously, it's content that you want special, like that nobody else gets any other way. And I'll be honest, I follow lots of people that do Patreon content, and I know one of the big things with Patreon content is ad free stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like that's not enough. I feel like with Patreon, it needs to be something that's really special and different. And so, yeah, but I that is something I'm definitely considering because,
Yeah, for your back content for sure. Because
mm-hmm.
that's one major drawback to Twitch is it's only live streaming. You can't upload videos. That's one thing we like about YouTube is we can upload videos if we have to be on vacation, and we want to make sure that you're still getting content. We can, just upload a video to
Mm-hmm.
run. And then for Steph's Twitch, her videos are gone after so many days.
Yeah, I think
So
it's like 60 days, I think.
yeah, so then where does that stuff go? So that, you know, that's
I
right now
actually,
she
yeah.
has it living on a YouTube,
Yeah,
but
I
maybe.
archive it to YouTube. And so that's the thing, because I archive to YouTube, I could be archiving privately to YouTube and make people pay for that. And I don't feel good about that. I'm like, the live and the subscribers being able to skip commercials and that kind of thing is, I like that, but after a while, I think it's okay to put that stuff on YouTube, and I don't know.
Let it be.
I think, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like, I always think about what is the value of, I subscribe to a lot of podcasts, and they'll put the podcasts on Patreon where you can get them early and ad free. And I'm always kind of like, well, that may be valuable to some people. I don't know that it's necessarily valuable to me. So,
There's all different kinds of like the people that I think that would want to like show up to your Twitch, for example, are the people here that want to interact with you live.
mhm,
If someone just wants to have you on in the background like a podcast, then that part probably doesn't interest them.
mhm.
And they might just be like, no, YouTube's fine for me. I like the idea of being able to cater to all those different kinds of viewers.
Yeah, and that's why we throw a lot of spaghetti at the wall to see like what lands. Like, what do people say? Like, oh, I love this. Because I mean, bottom line, yeah, we wanna make money off of our content. I mean, that's like that's just the hustle, this hustle culture we're in. That's how a lot of people are paying the bills. But I I don't do this because of that necessarily. Because
Yeah, that wasn't your drive
I have
originally.
not made money off of this. But yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's really just about like what we said earlier. It's just like coming here and being with your people, and having a good time. It like perks up your day. It gets you motivated, gives you ideas. You learn about
Hey,
things.
I opened up boxes that would have sat here. That second box I opened, I got in like December of, wait, it might have been December of last year.
What? Are you kidding me?
I knew what it was. Wasn't anything like
But
that I was like,
what if something had happened inside there that you didn't know about, and like you needed to like yell at the post office or something like.
I mean, that's a risk, but the box was in really good shape. So, like if the box looks problematic, then I'm more likely to be like, but no, the box was fine. I got them, like I said, I bought them from another dealer who was trying to just offload them. So,
Okay, I will never judge you on your piles of quilts and stuff. I will judge you on not opening a box for a year.
yeah. I mean, if we're gonna play that game, I might have others. Are you offering to come help? Did you did you all hear her just offer to come help?
Yeah, let me grab my trusty box cutter. I'll be there in a
I
few
I
hours.
think yeah, I think that you guys all heard her offering to come schlep with her bad back.
Ah, yeah, you know what? You know what? You keep on. I'm gonna go get my box cutter. I'm gonna stop and buy one of those little tykes things, and I'm gonna be trudging up the stairs at your house.
You're not gonna be trudging up nothing right now. You're gonna be ice skating outside the house because
Oh,
we are
this is.
still covered in ice. We're
Oh,
we're we're starting to melt today. But yeah, LJ just said addressing boxes to Jill must say open now, not later. No, that being said, if I get a box from Stephanie, I open it immediately.
because there's a
Like
good
I
chance it's full of postage paid trash, unpostage paid trash. So
Yeah, because I had to pay to get it to the house because she didn't put enough postage on it. No, if I know, like, example, like when you get a box from Dana's auction, she has her sticker on the outside of it. Um, so like if I know that it's something I don't need right this moment, then I don't necessarily always open it. Because also, like, generally speaking, like, especially when I know that they're quilts, like I know that they're perfectly fine and safe in the box. Um, and they're not, they're easily stackable
this
that
is true.
way. Because you saw, I already have piles to deal with. Actually, only one of those three piles I showed you in the other room haven't been like fully processed yet, meaning they don't have an inventory tag on them. The other two do. But you heard Steph say she's coming to help, right? You did. Just be on my side.
Okay.
Yeah. you know, I really think that I got into this business just because I wanted to have a lot of stuff.
Well, I think that we see that with some dealers. Some
I was
dealers
gonna
just want to
say,
collect things and then they'll just get a lot of stuff so they can let go of some of it.
well, I was gonna say, if you guys have ever seen pictures, they're pretty rare when they get out onto the internet. But if you've ever seen pictures of the inside of Stella Rubin's, um, what does she call her studio, I
Studio.
guess.
Hmm.
Yeah, that has, it's like where she sells on her property. It doesn't look unorganized. It just has a lot of piles of quilts in it, and it looks like a pretty big room. You're right, Julie Silber never apologizes. Although her space where her business is in California, um, from the perspective of angles from shooting in there, it does look rather tight in there. And based on those, it also looks like she's not often sitting on piles. I think she moves her inventory a lot faster, which is much easier to do when you're Julie Silber.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with someone the other day about this quilt that um had been brought to our attention, and the person with it wants a significant amount of money for it. And they want that based off an appraisal that they have. They're just a regular person. They don't know anything about any of this. So it's going to have to be a conversation of, and the appraisal clearly states for insurance purposes. And, that hard conversation of what that price means as opposed to market value. And I had mentioned Julie Silber because someone had asked me, like, what do you think you could sell that quilt for, or what would you buy it for? And just as an example, I said something to the effect of, I could might buy or could sell that quilt for maybe $2,000. The person on the appraisal said like $4,300. And I was like, a Julie Silber could probably sell that quilt for $4,300. I, being a medium to lower tier dealer, probably can't. And I was like, and she could even potentially have a buyer where that quilt's sold before she even has it. So I was like,
Yeah.
there's a wide swath of variety here in terms of how things end up happening. And then I was like, now if that person, if they want it, but if she can sell it for 4,300, she's not going to buy it from this person for 4,300.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if they really are like hell bent on that number, because people with appraisals get so fixated on it, I was like, then their best bet is to sell it themselves. But it's not likely that someone's going to buy it from Joe Schmo
Yeah.
for 43. Now that being said, it's a really cool quilt. It's very nice. It's very nicely quilted. Um, but yeah.
Yeah. I have to say, Julie, yes, LJ, her finds are impressive. I mean, she always jokes around about being old, and I'm always like, Julie, stop it. But I mean, just in terms of being a mature dealer, she's seen a lot of stuff. She's been around for a long time. She's a lot of quilts have passed through her hands, and she knows so many people. I mean, when she was curating for the Thompsons, right?
The Spree collection?
Doug, yeah. What was their last name? Their last name was Thomas Thompson. Why am I blanking on
Sure.
that? Doug and now I can't think of his wife's name. In any
Whatever
event,
you say.
the Amish quilts I mean, it just that's notoriety. I mean, like,
Yeah, Julie Silber is a brand.
yeah, she's a brand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, like, she's one of the top dealers in the country, alongside of like a Zania Cord and a Stella Rubin.
yeah.
Um and like I uh Cindy Reynolds, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple others. Um
It was funny. I looked at the Great American Quilt Festival, the Folk Art Museum,
hmm
and their magazine Clarion. I was able to find a issue of it on Issue, that magazine thing, And as I was flipping through it, it has some really great articles. I'm looking forward to reading them. But as I'm just flipping through, we saw the ads for all of the major antiques places and in New York and Connecticut and all that. And of course, Stella was in there. I'm trying to think. American Hurrah, Laura Fisher. There's a
And
couple
those
other
two,
ones.
is American Hurrah still around? I don't
I
think
don't.
they
I
are.
don't think so, but I feel like, and I don't know.
Well, we know Laura Fisher isn't.
Yeah, I know Laura Fisher. I think she passed away right before the pandemic because they were. I think. I feel like it was early pandemic when they were liquidating all of her stuff. Um, yeah, absolutely. Leah said the ladies are aging out, and they will tell you that. Absolutely, they do tell us that. So we need younger dealers to step into the light, and that is what Jillian Alexander's doing.
Well, what's funny is I hear all the time, and not just from quilt dealer people, I hear this from antique dealers
Mm-hmm.
altogether, because often when I'm going into antique stores or I'm going to shows, the people in charge or whatever will talk to me because I'm probably the youngest person in the room. And I hear all the time, younger people aren't interested in this. They don't this, they don't that. They don't want to deal. And I'm like, there are absolutely younger dealers. They're just online. They're on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. I know many of them. I know a whole, probably at least 10 younger quilt dealers. They might do some dealing differently
Mm-hmm.
than people have. Like the two quilts I showed you that were from a quote like a dealer, but she doesn't really deal quilts. She repurposes beat up crap, like just falling apart quilts.
Right. Yeah.
She's significant. Like I think she's in her 20s. I don't know
Oh
for
wow.
sure, but
Huh.
she's pretty young. There's caravan quilts, there's Whipple will.
Whippoorwill.
Um,
Yeah.
there we go. The there's Thrifty Whitney, there's Monarch Landing quilts. There's a whole bunch of them. They're just online. And
Yeah,
some of them
Leah,
might
we
have
know.
spaces in stores, but LJ said Jill and Julie are shopping 24/7 for the right product to turn. That is true. Although I will say I lately, like I haven't been, I did not plan on buying those quilts in the auction. I just got, I was fighting with Julie
Yeah, well,
on,
the funny thing was we pitched having Julie on because last year Julie was on with Dana and it was the technology, there were some issues and Dana was struggling. So we were like, I pitched, why don't we, if Julie is interested, why don't we do like a stream of the auction, and then Julie can be there with us and we can guide, like do the hype horn, and hopefully
Mhm.
hype up the auction. And I feel like Julie hyped you up. I don't know that we hyped anybody else up.
Saw me coming from a mile away.
Yeah, Julie's like, hmm. It was
I
so
really
funny.
think I really think too on that like green, yellow, and brown quilt there that I spent a good amount of money on. I She was all like, "Oh, I won't bid on it then if you're bidding on it." I think she was probably in the corner there pressing the bid button and
She
like,
bit it up.
yeah, she's probably bidding it up for me.
Julie is an AQSG shill for sure.
No, and that was a lot of fun.
It
But
was.
yeah,
I had a blast. It was so much fun.
I had not planned on doing any buying there. I haven't, other than that, I haven't done any buying yet this year. Um, just because I have a lot.
Yeah.
And I have actually already had at least two, well, three, okay, maybe four or five AQSG members that have like reached out and been like, "Hey, I'm downsizing.
Oh.
Can I?"
Mm-hmm.
And I have purchased some things already off people, but it's a catch-22. It's like it's a good time to get going in this because we do have all these much older collectors now or researchers or dealers that need to downsize and need to get out of things. That's a lot of money to invest.
It is.
Um,
Yeah.
because let's just say for me, like let's just say I was going to liquidate. If I've got a stock of like 400, you know, um
And you don't want,
That's
you would like to be able to sell them like in a lot of 400 or maybe two lots of 200. You don't want to like, because nickel and diming them is just like dealing them, period. If you want to get rid of your inventory, you want to sell it like
Mhm.
all at once.
Yeah, and that at 400, right? Even let's just say we gave it a super low number. Let's say $50 a quilt. That's $20,000. So
Alrighty then.
that's well, if you remember, Steph, the first seminar we went to in Louisville, again, I won't name names, but we were having a conversation with someone who was talking about how they had just bought a collection at one point and had to borrow money from their husband because
Yeah.
the price per quilt was super low. It was a steal, but they would only sell in this big lot and they needed something like 10 grand.
Yeah.
Um, so, being able to have all that funds available without, like your parents investing or something, that
Yeah.
becomes a lot up front. So it's like and the thing is like with quilts, at least for me, if Leah, if you're still around, you should tell me if you agree. You have to buy them when they're there because like we see these auctions, like, when someone like a Laura Fisher dies and
Yeah.
um they're not like it's not one of those like, oh, if you didn't get it, you'll see it again next week.
Yeah. Oh,
Especially if
Leah
they're
agrees.
yeah, especially if they're really low priced for, reselling, like you gotta buy them when you can.
Yeah.
And
Somebody will swoop in.
yeah, like we need to we need to win the lottery so that like, there's just a cool like 100K sitting around here to be like, everybody, we're gonna hold a summit here. Bring the stuff that you're downsizing. We'll take care of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. So, oh, Leah said she purchased a collection that she had worked on for 20 years. Is this Pat related stuff? I don't want to like out it, but yeah, she said it was all or nothing, and that was hard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it was Pat stuff. Yeah. Um. Yeah, and I mean, think about what we've seen so far. Like Virginia Gunn, her collection is gone
Mm-hmm.
to, and what is it going to take? Like three separate auctions
I
to.
think they said up to 5
Oh my
because they're not doing only her stuff. They're mixing her stuff in
god.
with other
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So I think
Yeah.
that's Meander that has it. And I think they've had 2 auctions so
Yeah,
far with
and I think what's so amazing about Jenny Gunn, I mean, she was, and I say was, she is still alive. She's in memory care right now. So, um, she had her collection is just like outstanding. It's not just quilts.
it's
It's
like
not just textiles.
encyclopedic.
Yeah, I mean, just based on all of the all of the work that she did and research she did over the years. She has like clothing, costumes, all kinds of stuff. I mean,
She
just
also had a lot of
amazing.
those like tin types, right? Weren't those hers?
Maybe I don't remember.
Those
I know she
photos, the
had
little
some. She
photos.
had some objects that I was just like, oh, not like why do you collect that, but just like, oh, that's an interesting thing to collect if you're a textile person. Like it was something like arbitrary in my opinion, but
Hmm.
so Leah's sent over 300 items, quilt clothes and tops to auction already. Yeah, and Leah, you're young. Material culture, absolutely. Virginia Gunn has, and there are other collectors I think that same thing. Glee Kruger. Now her stuff
Hmm.
was really, really, really specifically needlework. Like I don't remember that she had a whole lot of. I don't really remember anything like costume necessarily. She had fabrics.
I think she had some quilted petticoats.
Did she? Yeah.
I
So
think she.
it is absolutely young, Leah. You're only 10 years older than me, so. And if I refuse to be old,
Shut up. Wait, Lee's 10 years older than you? I would never have seen that coming. Leah, you definitely don't look
no,
10 years older
you
than
don't look your age. You don't look your age. Um, yeah,
And we know that Stephanie doesn't look her age because she's 25.
yeah. It's funny, I always say, people always ask me, like, how do you look so young? And I was like, well, you have to start off when you're 20, and you have to use oil of Olay, and you have to never be in the sun. So if you're not 21 years old and you've been in the sun, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah, lucky for me, I have never ever enjoyed like
Yeah, I'm.
sunbathing.
Oh, and never dye your hair. It's been a really long time since I've dyed my hair, and I really and truly don't have a lot of gray. Um, my mom was late to go gray, and her hair is like a light enough color that it's hard to tell. I
Blends
guess
in,
unless
yeah.
she doesn't, you know. But yeah, my grandmother, my mother's mother, I mean, as a kid, I was just thought, I mean, she's my grandmother. She's got gray hair. She looks old, like, but I realized because my grandmother passed away in 2018. So, I mean, she lived into my 40s. And as an adult, I was like, oh, she didn't actually start looking really old until she was in her 80s. So that's when her hair went like white and she was very wrinkly. But I realized that looking at pictures of her when I was a kid and even in, into college and when I got married and stuff, I'm like, she never looked that old. I just, in my mind, she was my grandmother. So grandmothers are old.
Okay. Well, what have we learned today? Grandmothers
Age,
are old.
age means nothing, you know? Um, oh gosh, I watched some kind of thing. What was you guys know I do a lot of true crime when I'm sewing and
Oh
trying to
my
get my
God,
eye off of
did you
stuff.
watch the new documentary on Gabby Petito?
I haven't.
I watched it last night. I got some issues,
Yeah.
people.
I have mixed feelings of, I mean, just the whole I yeah, I don't want to go there. So, but somebody there was a topic that was on. It was a murder situation, but a person that they talked about, it was a woman who had her first child when she was 13. And oh my goodness, how that like my heart broke as they were talking about that. And but of course then that child ended up having a child. She was like a grandmother in her 30s. And I was just like in her early 30s. So,
There was a girl, a friend of mine that I went to school with that had a child of 14 and her child just turned 25, but does not have any kids.
yeah, it's a I mean, of course it's a terrible situation when babies have babies. But
Hmm.
when you just think about like put that into perspective and just think like you could be like a great great grandmother and still be really young and with
So
our
that refutes your earlier point of grandmas
grandmothers,
are old.
all grandmas are old. Actually, my mother-in-law's sister, I think she started having kids young, and her kids had kids young, and her those kids had kids young. She was a great, well, and I mean she is still living. She's a great great grandmother. I'm trying to think how many. I think I've lost the thread of how many, but yeah, she's got multiple greats, and she's only maybe 80. She's in her early 80s, I think.
Druid said that she watched the documentary the other day. Like,
Yeah. Have you watched Apple Cider Vinegar? That's the one I binge watched over the
wait, is
weekend.
that a documentary? Because it looks like a TV show.
So it's a remake. If anybody saw the one with oh gosh, who is the girl that the one that totally defrauded like everybody in New York City? And
Oh,
then
Anna Delvey.
yes, so they did the Anna Delvey like, and it was a remake. Like it was true story, but it was the dramatization of it. That's what Apple Cider Vinegar is. It's a
Okay, because
dramatization of a real.
that got
Mhm.
recommended to me yesterday after I watched the one about Belle Gibson
Well,
defrauding
yes,
Australia.
yes. Apple Cider Vinegar is Belle Gibson. It's a
It
dramatization.
is?
Yes, it's a dramatization of her story. And I think what it is, they say like the characters, everything it's true, but there have been some situation and characters, and so there's two different people in this show that I think may be completely manufactured, um, for the sake of the story, and it's making the point that. And if you guys don't know who we're talking about, Belle Gibson is an Instagram scammer. She was she's in prison now.
No,
she
she's not.
she isn't. I thought she was locked up
No,
now.
she has never, all she had to do was pay, she was ordered to pay a fine of like about a half million. She's never paid it, and she's never had any criminal charges.
So I thought they were locking her up for fraud with that the money with the fundraising for the sick child.
Not that I saw.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Bill Gibson is this completely trash person in Australia who claimed to have had glioblastoma, which is a very aggressive, terrible,
Brain
bad
cancer.
brain cancer. That basically, if you're diagnosed with that, it is a death sentence to this day. Like they still, you know, struggle with that form of cancer, and even though they've made such strides in other forms of cancer. But anyway, she claimed to have this brain cancer and then claimed that with this whatever kind of lifestyle she
She
cured
was, yeah, she
herself.
was curing herself with green juice.
Yeah, and so and then I mean she basically just defrauded all these people. She came out with this a cookbook that,
And
you
an
know,
app that Apple bought.
yeah, yes, the Apple, and she was. It seemed like, according to the dramatization, that maybe she was involved in Apple more than just being in their app store. She was actually like on site at Apple as like their employees were using her app, and like she was kind of like the like an on site nutrition person or something.
Oh my.
Yeah. So anyway, she just was, you know, just straight up defrauding people that really had cancer, and it all came out. And
Yeah, she was a liar. Like people died because they abandoned their actual treatment
mhm,
to follow.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so LJ just said as of April
no fine has
2019,
been
no
paid.
fine has been
Okay,
paid. And they did go in and like seize a bunch of her assets to try to repay some of the stuff. But
yeah,
she also she turned up briefly again because the documentary I watched last night is not the apple cider vinegar. So there's gotta be two
mhm.
documentaries now about her. The one I watched last night also showed where after she got blown out of the water and kind of fell off the radar for a while, she popped up again as like getting involved with this group in Ethiopia and like like attaching herself to a charity and like trying to do more grifting, and people saw her, and then luckily like that organization just completely dropped her. The 60 Minutes interview with her too is wild.
Yes, and they so in the dramatization they. So you've watched the documentary. This is the dramatization. They showed bits and pieces of that remade. They referenced it. They didn't get into the details, but I mean, it sounds like basically she was like, they were point blank asking her, "Did you have brain cancer?" And she's like, "Well," and they were like, "No, no, no, no. This is a yes or no answer question. This isn't a like spin it."
The
Um,
one that freaked me out was the I forget who the interviewer was, but she asked her how old she was. And she starts with, "Well, I've always been raised to believe that I'm 23 or something." And she's like, "This is really basic. How old are you?" And then she tried to claim that like her identity had been changed a lot, but then her own family came out and said that stuff's not true.
yeah, yeah,
So I mean, there's gotta, I feel like there's kind of gotta be some psychological issues going on there.
yeah.
I
Well,
almost,
yeah, and I mean, again, I know about the story, and then I watched the dramatization, and I haven't seen the actual documentary. So there may be, again, things in that dramatization that were, you know, not
Mhm.
100%. Like, because they did say that, you know, some of those situations had been altered a little bit, but it seems like her mother was kind of like a not super mother,
Yeah,
and she had
her own
like,
stepfather in the documentary admits that.
yeah, and so it sounds like she ran away when she was like 12.
And she went down the street to like live with some guy.
Yes, and so that they were not very clear about. He was like some kind of Russian like quack. That's what I gathered.
The documentary didn't talk about it too
See,
much
they
as
and
in
the
terms of
dramatization didn't either.
who he was.
Yes, the
It,
dramatization didn't either, but you got this impression like she takes her son to this person that you think is a doctor, but he's not. And there's this very weird dynamic between them, and I was like, this is the person she must have lived with when she ran away as a child. Like I could, and I feel like they didn't explain that well enough. But yeah, like I mean, just the whole like think about like just the whole big picture of this.
Mm-hmm.
She is not the only one. There are so many of these stories about young women coming out as like these. I mean, they're just it's like psychopathic kind of narcissist behavior.
Well, yeah, like that lady that was the family vlogger that's in jail now.
Oh, Ruby Frankie.
Yeah.
Yeah, her,
Um,
and then well, Scamanda. That's Amanda. I can't remember her last name. She also did some kind of I have cancer scam, but then she was doing some kind of crazy stuff over in she was working for an NGO over in Africa, and I can't remember like what all this she did a whole bunch of really cruddy stuff over there. Then there's a woman who was recently found, and I think she's in Canada, who was faking pregnancies and like scamming these doulas. And this like she wasn't making any money off this. She was just a creeper.
yeah, like why would you scam a doula?
Exactly. Why would you
And
scam somebody like
what are you scamming them out of?
their time? And the stuff I'm not going to get into what exactly what she was doing because it was pretty intense. It was I mean it was like pregnancy loss, all kinds of stuff like that, and she was getting these doulas to come and like basically be with her and like trapping them essentially, like you know, where like they were like they didn't want to leave her. They thought if they after being with her for like 2 or 3 days and she's they're like I gotta go home and like get some rest and take care of myself and my family, and she'd be like don't leave me, like, all of this just insanity. And I mean that's true, that's some true psychological issue. Like I don't know what else to say about that.
We really took a turn here, huh?
Hey, at least we're
I
not
have
talking
to
about
say though,
chicken sandwiches.
speaking about the scamming though, that docudrama, that's what you meant to say before, docudrama, about Anna Delvey, that thing is wild.
I love that because the actor that plays Anna Delvey, she was in it was a show with was it Jason Bateman and Laura Linney, I think. I think it was on Hulu maybe. And it was a thing about where they ended up getting into this they moved to like Branson, Missouri, and then accidentally fell into this like this crime family that was out there.
As one does.
Yeah, as one does. But she was the daughter in that, and then she was in she had a bit part in something else, I think The Americans. And I didn't think she was the most fantastic actor in either of those two things. But as Anna Delvey, oh my gosh, she was so good. And there's that point where it's apparently it's documented in real life, but she does it in the movie where she's like, "You look poor." And she's like in her prison jumpsuit, and she's looking at this like journalist and going, "You look poor."
Man. And I feel like some of the biggest scammers out there are people that are just trying to be like super ultra wealthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And all you have to do is
Well,
just like act in a certain way.
and the crazy thing about Anna Delvey is she was scamming from prison, and right now she is making art and selling these $10,000 and $20,000 paintings. And I'm like, again, meanwhile, I'm talking about, the patriarchy and art and big A art and little A art and all of that stuff. And this person, got to keep it clean, Stephanie. This person gets out of prison and just starts like painting some crap, and people are buying it. And I'm just like, oh, you're only buying it because she's a infamous person. You're not buying it because she has any talent.
I went on that scammer rampage because I started with the one I never even remembered hearing about this at the time. Sarma, somebody that was scamming in New York City. Well, she really wasn't. It was her husband.
I don't know if I know this one.
It was she had a really successful vegan restaurant.
Oh, that lady. I actually ate at that restaurant. Oh my gosh.
Really? Was it good?
No.
Oh, well, celebrities liked it apparently.
I gotta be honest, vegan food. Ooh. I know
I've had some vegan food that was really
Yes,
good, but
I
if it's
have
raw
had-
vegan,
I have had some like very good home style type vegan food. A friend of mine lived in Chicago for a while, and when I went out to visit her a couple times, and we would go to some restaurants that had vegan food that was very good, like vegan cheese curds, a vegan poutine, yes. But yes, I went to that place, and because it's raw vegan, I mean, some kale and some.
You like your food cooked?
Not, I think it would, like, I love vegetables. And I love raw vegetables. I'm perfectly happy. When I was a kid, man, my grandfather had a decent sized garden. I would go out there with him and, like, ask him, like, can I pick some stuff? And he'd be like, yeah, you know what ripe stuff looks like. So I'd be in there, like, just picking tomatoes and pull a carrot out, brush some dirt off. I love vegetables, but I don't know what. I'm just looking at this plate of crap they brought me, and I was just like, it wasn't good. They did have very good kombucha, I have to say. Very good kombucha. I was real confused about the bathrooms, though, because they had there were pictures on the bathroom door, and to be honest with you, I think they were really just like the bathrooms really for everybody. I don't think that it was truly like this is the men's room, this is the women's room. I think they were just non-gender.
Unisex.
But, yeah. The pictures on the doors were of a cow and a steer. And at the time, like, I'm just being a dummy, and I'm just looking at them like, what? And after I had gone, I went into the cow one, which was the right one. And after I came out, I was like, oh, steer is a boy cow. that was the men's room. And I was with my aunt, and I went and told her, and she was just like, I can't take you anywhere. Of course, she was the one that decided to go there. So, in any event, it was very expensive raw vegetables that did not taste very good because they'd had some kind of awful sauce or something. I don't even remember what it was on them. And
Well, the food aside, that scam case was pretty crazy.
yeah, that one was crazy. Which always, I think in her case, you almost feel sorry for her because even though I think she knew, and I can't remember all the details because it's been a while with that one, but she, a lot of it was the guy she was involved with, right?
Oh no, 100% totally abusive
Yeah.
relationship. Like, I don't think she. No, I after watching it, I'm like, oh, yeah, I think she's a victim.
Yeah. I don't know. I look at all those things and I always think to myself, like, oh, it drags me down to think, like, people that don't do, they do things these kind of scammy ways, and then they're like popular and rich, and it sort of just makes you sad. But then I think I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I had money in the bank that I had obtained from doing something scammy. I just couldn't feel good about that. Like that feels like dirty money. How can you?
There are a lot of people that don't have any morals,
Oh, I know.
apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But hey, I knew we would talk about food.
Well,
I'm
but
sitting here going like, what am I gonna eat when we're done?
definitely not raw vegan.
You know, it's funny. The best vegan food I ever had was my BFF Lydia that lives in Richmond. She was on a bit of a vegan kick for a while, and she made vegan stuffed shells with the ricotta type cheese that they made was made out of cashews.
Mm-hmm.
I ate the crap out of those things. They were so good. I will say though, watching her make them, way too much effort for me.
Oh yeah, you have to. It takes a lot of effort to make.
Yeah,
Some
you have to
so.
like soak the cashews overnight and you got to do blah, blah, but it was delicious. So I kind of told her like, I am not really interested in a vegan lifestyle, but I will come
You
over
can
for
cook
vegan.
for me anytime.
Yeah, like you can, that's fine. Um, Cashew brittle, that sounds yummy.
And I know I'm gonna blow your mind here, but cashews are delicious, and I can actually eat them. I'm not allergic to cashews.
Yay. Yay.
And people get
I
mad
like
at me when
cashews.
I admit that because like, oh, you said you're allergic to nuts. I am allergic to many nuts. It's hard for people to remember which ones. I am and which ones I'm not. So I just say not. I'm allergic to nuts. It's best to avoid them
Hmm.
all. But I can actually eat cashews and almonds. So in theory, I could be if I could find things like that just made out of cashews. I could in theory be a vegan. That's a lot of work. So much work.
Yeah. And I like cheese too much.
Yes,
Like
cheese that's come
this,
out of a cow or a sheep.
I could probably more easily be a vegetarian than a vegan because I just
Yeah,
can't live without cheese.
I've spent a couple years at a time. When I was in college, I sort of ate vegetarian for a while, and then I would say now we probably have at least one or two vegetarian meals a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But even that would be hard for me because I like burgers and I like seafood and you know.
luckily my husband is a decent like he decently enjoys beans and rice and stuff like that. So I'll make sort of like Mexican Tex-Mex style stuff that just has beans like as the protein, and he's okay with that.
Mhm.
And I've made a couple of things like an African tagine that was like with chickpeas, also good. But then he'll be like, you know what, this would be really good, and I'll say, oh, what if it had beef in it? Or this is great, it's missing one thing. Oh, what is that? Chicken. So
I'm really hungry.
beans and rice and spinach is your favorite. Yeah. Spinach, I like raw spinach. Connor, my son, loves spinach. I don't know
I
about
like
like
spinach, but it pisses me off what makes my teeth feel fuzzy.
that's the is it oxalic acid that's in spinach?
I don't know. I will say if you like the concept of cooked spinach, but you don't like the weird taste on your teeth or the feeling, then pea pod stems are the way to go.
Okay.
It's the part of the pea pod that like a lot of places throw out. It's really usually find it in the Asian section,
Okay.
and it's usually pretty cheap. But and it's a stem, with a leaf on it. And you cook those up in like however you want to cook them, but we like to cook them in like a little bit of like butter, garlic, salt, and pepper. And they make you feel like you're eating cooked spinach without your teeth feeling all freaking weird. Um,
So Druid likes cooked spinach. You have a spinach omelet every day. I see now spinach in an omelet. Very good. Yes, that's where things like that I like. If it's mixed in with
mhm.
other stuff, I cook spinach is fine. But yeah, like a cream of spinach or something like.
No, I can get on board with that. The only thing is just like a pot. And the other thing too that pisses me off about spinach is you buy it in the bag, right? And you buy this big honkin' bag and it makes this much spinach.
Yes, that is the crazy thing about spinach. Yes, you buy it in a garbage bag, and so if you're going to eat it raw, like as in a salad, it will take you 82 years to eat that whole bag. It'll be long, long compost before you ever finish it. Yet you want to buy it and cook it, and you do. You end up with like garbage bag down to like this little soup bowl size. I have made a warm spinach salad where you just barely heat the spinach so it starts to like, and then you take it out and you mix it up with like a hot vinegar dressing and a little bit of bacon bits and stuff. It's very good.
So we're all going to Steph's house for dinner.
No, because all I have is cold pizza.
That's more than I have right now. I mean, I guess I could like eat like a cookie. I actually have to like make things to have them. Did you work on anything today? I mean, I basted a few
I,
hexies.
I saw you do a little stitch, but I'm like, nah, nah, I didn't do anything.
Okay.
I
Have
will
you
be.
how
I
are
will
you
be printing
doing
my.
in book reading?
Um, you mean which book?
Dress Diary?
Um, I may be having to read that tomorrow afternoon or Monday. I haven't done any reading.
That reminds me, like, so we haven't like made the like official announcement in terms of like a social media post or anything, but do you guys want to hear about what's coming? we could tell the cool peeps right now if you want to hear
Yeah.
about some.
Yeah.
I have a pantry and fridge full of food, but there isn't a damn thing to eat in the house. Girl,
I know that feeling.
same. So LJ wants to hear what's
Leah wants
coming.
to hear. Yep.
Oh, they want to spill the tea.
Spill the tea.
Is this like light that's like creating this, weird halo? Is that
I
really
think
weird?
so. Yeah, I
Should I
think
change
that's your.
positions?
I
It's
mean,
the light coming in, but like,
yeah.
is that super annoying? Should I move?
It doesn't bother me, but I don't know if it
Oh.
bothers anybody else. They may not be looking at you. Ah, man, Leah's making a lemon cake. I will
So,
expect a slice in my in my mailbox in a few days.
for we finished this book in I think we have three more sections to read.
Yeah, it's actually here on
So
my
three more
desk.
streams. And then after that, we're gonna have a few free nights before we start our next quarter. But in April, what's coming is a lecture that will be a private thing. People will have to sign up and pay a fee to attend a lecture, but a lecture put on by Pam Weeks, curator at NEQM, about portable patchwork, which after that lecture, we're going to read her book, Portable Patchwork. Before you go all crazy and run out and buy it, she does um, sell it herself, and we'll have like a link and stuff for that.
And I have an extra copy, so we will also do a
That's right,
giveaway.
you do for a
Yep.
giveaway. And then after that, we're going to do an author interview with her.
Yeah, so you can get 3 times the Pam.
Yep. And I will say, she was, when I was in the museum a couple of weeks ago or something, and we were talking about this, she was flipping through her book and telling me about some very interesting stories related to some of the quilts in there, and just some of the, like the fun little anecdotal stuff that can't go in a book
Hmm.
that is very interesting. And I kept telling her, I'm like, yeah, write that, make a note of that. Like, tell people about that. Yeah, people want to hear about that. Like, so, yeah, it'll be our first time trying an actual, like, that will be basically, what's the word I want? Hosting
We're
an
hosting a.
actual paid
Yeah.
lecture. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So there will be.
trying different
Yeah,
things.
there will be multiple ways to get involved with Pam's stuff. So, yeah, and I think I'm trying to remember. You guys might remember better than I do. Was the portable patchwork show up when Mary came to the New England Quilt Museum? Somebody did a walkthrough of that exhibit. Um,
I wonder if it could have been Tara.
I know I've seen it. I just I can't remember who did it. And I don't think it was Tara. I thought it was Mary. In any
I'm
event.
remembering, well, I'm remembering the quilt. Well, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe it was Mary, because I'm picturing the quilt that her and Marianne were sitting in front of when they did their like chat.
Yeah, Robin says she thinks it was Mary did.
Yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah. So, well, I'll track that down. I'll see if we can find it if it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, we could do a
So
watch party of that.
yeah, we could have like
Yeah.
4 times the Pam. Yeah, but no, we're
And then
excited. Yeah, we're excited.
that means too that like in between, finishing the Dress Diary book and then moving on to the Pam stuff, we'll have some free shows in there. And we were recently going through kind of things that um we have waiting to be shown. There's quite a few like exhibits and still that you guys haven't seen that are waiting on the back burner. There's still our feed sack experiment that has to be put into something
Some kind of
intelligent.
order.
So yeah. Yeah, her book is available on Amazon. It's just
Yeah,
um she sells herself, and we always just try to
yeah. And
support the
she'll
authors for,
autograph it if you buy the
yeah,
book
she'll
before.
autograph them
So
for you. Hmm.
yeah,
And ship them to you herself.
yeah. And it is called Portable Patchwork.
Mhm.
It's a fantastic book. I bought it when I think it was right after she published. Quilt Folk picked it up as like their like book of the month or something.
Mhm.
And I saw it on there and I thought, well, I guess I could probably wait until it's on Amazon or whatever. And they're like, no, I know this supports Quilt Folk. And so I went ahead and bought it from them. And just immediately I was fascinated because I was like, I learned about this type of quilting not that long ago. It was probably 2015 or 2016. And like I knew that this was a way you made quilts,
Mhm.
that it wasn't something that was completely like, oh my god. I just didn't know how it was done. So,
It was,
yeah.
oh my God.
Well, and I mean I mean Georgia Bonesteel did she
Mhm.
was did like a what was it, lap quilting is what she taught it as, and it was, you do your block and then, you know, um
Yeah, Robin, she doesn't have a link right now. She had to order books especially for this event.
uh,
So I don't know if she'll make like a link on her website. I think it's going to be really kind of just for us.
mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
could in the moment it could be as simple as just directing everyone to her email. But
Yeah, I
we were
think
specifically talking to her about her ordering a case of her books for
yeah,
us.
I think she said that she might have to just do like PayPal, like a PayPal thing.
Hmm. But yeah,
So,
that's why I said like it's not technically like we're giving you guys the info like ahead of time because technically like the real reveal won't be till next week.
or is that when we're doing it?
I was gonna have it for Tuesday.
Okay. I wasn't sure when we were gonna let the cat out of the bag, but yeah, I'm excited because yeah, like I said, you said, well, this will be our first time offering a paid lecture in addition
Hmm.
to, the
Hmm.
our regular Tuesday stuff. So
Yep. And in addition to our author interview.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and what LJ said, she's interested in, what did you say? Interested in her bio, what piqued her interest, etc. Yeah, I mean, I've met Pam a number of times. I mean, we know each other. You know her much better than I do because you've worked with her for a very long time. But I'm very interested in her background too. So
Hmm. She has a very interesting background, especially because she is not trained in museum studies. She does not have a degree. So that is definitely one of the interesting parts about her because it means that you don't have to be, just like they say in art, classically trained in order to like do really great things. And I think that's one of the most interesting things about her.
yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
Hmm. Well, I can hear someone starting to do some cooking in the background, and
Ooh.
I am starving, and we're coming up on 3 hours.
Yes, and my tummy. I have not eaten much of my pizza, and it's going to be time to actually cook dinner. So
But this has been lovely. You guys made me open boxes.
yeah, we accomplished something today.
Hmm. That's a big accomplishment for me.
Yeah, I would say it is.
Hmm.
Well, heads up, guys.
Thanks for you, LJ.
I am going to be at a quilt study tomorrow. The dating club. I had forgotten it was this weekend. So, yeah, I will be at that tomorrow. So I will report back on Monday.
Hmm.
And obviously, I've got some reading to do because we're doing a double set of chapters since we
Yeah,
since we interviewed Alicia. And I'm like,
we've
oh,
got a double header to talk about on Tuesday.
yeah. And Robin's looking for lunch. So
Yeah, you just remind me. I guess I should actually start reading like now because I like to try to pull out, supplementary goodies.
yeah, I should do that too.
That's going to take a little more time. Hmm. Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody. It was
Yeah,
fun.
thanks, guys.
I needed some friends time.
Aw, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And this time we talked about food and murderers and and
Scammers.
boobs and censorship and
All the
QuiltCon.
things. All the
Yeah.
things.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right, guys. I hope the rest of your weekend is fantastic, and we will see you soon. Mwah!
Bye.